quite a lot of space time. So, but yeah, kickoff is at 11 o'clock, and Rassie Erasmus has made 10 changes to his side that beat New Zealand down in Cape Town with a lot of rotation, a new captain, a new look halfback pairing. New look lock combination, new look back row, and a new look 6-2 split in terms of your backline players that are there. Before we look at the teams, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this? There's your team. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? So first of all, Oxen Chair has got 2 new front row partners. Malcolm Marx will start, as will Thomas du Toit. Pretty much expected from a Thomas du Toit perspective. I think that he was always going to start. Vincent Koch primarily been used off the bench. Good to see Malcolm Marx starting. Very interesting to see that Jan-Hendrik Wessels is on the bench at hooker. You know, he continues to get these opportunities, which is quite strange given the fact that Rassie Erasmus very much came out and spoke about the fact that Johan Krobler was the third choice hooker behind Bongi and Malcolm, and all of a sudden now Jan-Hendrik Wessels is kind of getting his opportunity ahead of him. If you look at the second row, though, Ruan here will continue in that number 5 jersey, and he'll be joined by Sal Murat, who comes back into the starting lineup and will captain the side, despite having some very experienced players like a Malcolm Marx, for example, Lekanya, Andre Pollard even. He will take the captain's armband. We generally always do have a forward as captain, and he has been backed this weekend. It is the new look loose trio. Malcolm Starden comes in and gets his first start in quite a while, next to Ben Jason Dixon, who comes back as expected. Jasper Wiese does continue in that number 8 jersey. He has been pretty good since coming back. Hasn't looked like he's been missing a lot of rugby, to be honest. He's got up to pace very, very quickly, and battering and bruising the Argentines will be his job this weekend. If you look at the halfback combination, as he generally does, Kobus Reinach does start, and Jaden Hendrickson will come off the bench. I would really like to have seen Jaden Hendrickson start. I think that's probably my early sort of first change I would have made in terms of having Jaden Hendrickson start. You could have had Kobus Reinach off the bench. I would have liked to have seen Morne Vandenberg, to be honest. But there, and then Andre Pollard starting again. I still think, you know, we're really missing a trick. You got to feel for Martin Liebach, who I thought was tremendous against Portugal, and does not get the opportunity to start, and will come off the bench as a bit of a utility back. Very much named as utility back, by the way, according to the press release. So that in itself is pretty interesting. The back 3 is Maxwell Mapimpi, Kurt Lawrence, Aple Lefasi, probably as pretty much expected. The center combination, and we thought we might see it, Lekanya JC Creel once again. We trialed this against Australia, but to be perfectly honest, didn't really get to see it. Can work. So I do think this is going to be a much better opportunity to see that. Then off the bench, a couple of changes. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, as mentioned, but Gerrit Steenekamp and Vincent Koch continue in that sort of 17-18 role. Eben Etzebeth will form part of the bomb squad and will equal Victor Matfield's record when he comes on of 127 test appearances. He will then ideally probably start next week and will become the most capped Springbok of all time in Mbombela Stadium. If we then look at the rest of the bench, Albert Lowe, Kwaka Smith continuing those sort of bomb squad roles. Albert Lowe, I think, has really put himself up in the mix there. I feel a bit for Nico Jansen van Rensburg, who hasn't really been given opportunities thus far. He's been brought in, hasn't had any game time, haven't really seen him. And then Jaden Hendrickson and Martin Liebach, the other 2 players on the bench. If we look at some of the stats, for example, before we sort of really dive into this, it is a 6th consecutive victory for the Boks, longest winning run in the competition's history, which will include the Tri-Nations. We have won 9 of the last 10 meetings between us and Argentina. The last time we lost was in Mendoza in 2018. One of 2 losses we've actually had against Argentina. Pollard needs 4 points to overtake Morne Steyn and become in 2nd place in the all-time point scorers. There's Percy McGarry currently leading with 893 points. If we look at the total test caps, for example, 488 in the starting lineup. There are 294 in the back line, 195 in the forwards, 277 of which 127 will be 126 are Eben Etzebeth's. The average caps per player in the back line is 42. In the forwards, just 24. On the bench, 34. So lots of experience in the back line. On the bench, not as much experience in that front row. So yeah, it's an interesting side, and very interesting to see from this who then plays next week, because it is very much a team that's been picked with a bit of rotation, but I think, a team picked to win. For me, the Cobus Rhino Andre Pollard selection probably shows you that they're very much looking to get this result, and they're very much taking it very seriously. But what do you think? This is the question, because it's an interesting. I wouldn't say it's a boring side. It's a little bit of a boring. It's quite a safe side, to be honest. I would have as I would have loved to have seen Liebach getting it backing and getting a start. I would have loved to have seen a Monte van den Berg feature. I would have really liked to have seen Nicolas van Rensburg get an opportunity as well. So it's an interesting one to not give them a try. And I feel sad for them, because I think that some of them have been really good in terms of being around the setup throughout the year. They've been doing their due diligence, for example, been preparing well, and just haven't quite had the opportunity that some other players have had. I mean, you look at Mike Liebach, for example, who was breakthrough player of the year for the Boks last year. How little game time he's had. You look at Jan Hendrik Wessels, how much game time he's had, for example. So it's an interesting one. I mean, Salman Murat, for example, is somebody who a lot of people have spoken about maybe being on the fringes, and he's getting a lot of game time. So I feel some players. I mean, I think the Thomas Toy selection is a good selection. I think Ben Jason Dixon's a good selection. I'm interested in the Lekanya JC Creel center combination. I don't have an issue with that at all. I don't really mind Ken really not featuring, because I think that Maxwell Mapimpi deserves to be there. Hasn't played as much, and Kurt Lawrence, we know what he brings. So I think about 90% of the squad I'm pretty happy with. There are a couple that I do feel for. And I'll be interested to see what happens in the second half with regards to changes. Are we going to see, Andre Pollard potentially shift to 12 and Liebach go at 10? Will we see Liebach potentially going at 15? Injuries could also dictate a very different type of team throughout the game. So yeah, I'm going to put a poll in the comments and ask you, are you happy with the team? Very simple, yes, no. Then we get into the comments and see what everybody else has to say. And yeah, then we can get stuck into a bit of analysis, really, and see what the plans are. Maybe also this might be an indication of what we might see next weekend as well. So looking at some of the comments, Ultimate Sharpshooter saying, Monty again is going to get 10 minutes and Rusty will call that building depth. Rub saying, not as many changes as I anticipated, it turns out. Spirit saying, interesting team. Matthew saying, free money. CS saying Murat is not good enough and they'll still make him captain. Campos saying Pollard is class, but Mani needs starts. We need all 3 10s at the top of their game, getting so little game time. Yeah, I think a lot of people are upset about not seeing Mani Liebach start, which I'm also. Brandon saying, oh cool, we are taking the game as seriously as we should. Which I think is a very good point. We will get a press conference. That'll be at 8 o'clock tonight is the press conference. So we will have that up on the channel after that. So don't you stress, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on as well, and you'll be notified when that gets uploaded. And that is saying Mani at 10 would be great, but still a strong team. It is still a strong team. And I mean, it was never not going to be a strong team because Mani's not in it, to be fair. You got Pollard as the other option. But we do sort of feel, I mean, we're very big Mani Liebach fans, and we'd love to see him cook over in Argentina, because I don't think he's going to start in Mombela. Maybe he does. My gut says he probably doesn't. But yeah, it's an interesting one. ALT said it would have been good for Mani at 10. I mean, Pollard at 12. The unexpected saying, I'm guessing they will take off in the second half and move Pollard to centre for Mani to play at 10. Could be a big option. Saeed saying, interesting side, kind of the point where I just accept Rassi and the coaching staff know what they're doing, so nothing left but to back the boys 100%. And Andila saying, I still understand why Salman Murat moved from no caps to captain. Robert saying, Mani and Andre Esterhuizen should start. Well, as far as we thought, Andre Esterhuizen was injured. So a bit of an interesting one, that the fact that he then played over the last weekend and will probably play in the Currie Cup final this weekend. Yeah, interesting situation. Not entirely sure what exactly is cooking there, but it is what it is. Maybe one of those things where he they didn't expect him to be ready, and as a result they released him, and all of a sudden the recovery took a bit shorter, and then kind of by the time he was ready, they'd already sort of made their plans. So it's an interesting one. Look, I mean, I like the team in terms of it's a strong team, but we knew it was going to be a strong team in terms of the side we took over there, the squad we took over. And I was all for it, to be fair. I was very chuffed to see that we took a strong squad because I want to see us win the Rugby Championship, as people who've been watching the channel will know. And to do that, we need to go, ideally, beat them this weekend. Because if we beat them this weekend, then job done. Rugby Championship won. So that is hopefully going to be the case from the weekend. As I said, go out there, win the Rugby Championship, and off we go. The question is, if we do win the Rugby Championship, do we then rotate next week in our last home game? It'll probably be a record-breaking game, and Eben Etzebeth, probably becoming the most capped Springbok player of all time if he plays next weekend. Does Maliebok get a start, or Tasha van Miguel Mazulu's been left behind? Is he going to potentially start next weekend? Is that the thinking? So it's an interesting selection. I'm going to go through some of the comments that Rassie Erasmus has made, as well as some of the stats to look at. CS saying, what happened to Marvin Orie after the World Cup? He just went quietly into the night. Joe, he's playing over in the I want to say top 4 team. I don't know if they actually got relegated, Joe, he's over in France. Also a bit surprised that he hasn't featured more this year, especially given the fact that we had a bit of a lock crisis. And I thought that would have been a very easy option. You go to Marvin Orie, who's been there, done that, knows exactly what to do. He's a World Cup winner, and he's only 31 years old. What's happened to him? I just don't understand, to be brutally honest. And he's back and he's playing, by the way. He started this past weekend and the weekend before. Last season, he went and played, I think he played 867 minutes in the top 14 and 67 minutes in the Challenge Cup. So he played almost 1,000 minutes for Perpignan, which is decent. I think he'll become a sure starter over there. He in fact even skipped the celebrations back in South Africa, the World Cup parade, to go back and get stuck in over there because they were in relegation zone. They needed they needed his help. So I'm not entirely sure what's cooking over there. He's played 160 minutes. Very, very strange. Again, at 31 years old, could still make the next World Cup, but definitely, very much for me, it should be in the mix. I mean, we've called up Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg, who I think is about the same age. He's a year younger. It's a strange one. It is a strange one. In terms of the Salman Murat captaincy thing, look, I don't... It's a strange one. Look, at the end of the day, the only thing I can do is talk about why I think he's there. So, I mean, he's captain throughout the age groups. He's captain at junior levels, he's captain under 21s, he's captain at Stormers. So all the coaches talk about him as an incredible leader. And apparently, commands respect from the players. Apparently, the players rally behind him very quickly. He has got rugby heritage behind him. So he's kind of always destined to be captain, apparently. So I don't think the issue is so much for him captaining, but more in terms of actually his selection itself. Because as far as we understand, from a captaincy point of view, the players respect him, the players back him, the coaches back him, and he's a very easy selection as captaincy for captain's candidate. The question is, should he be in the side full stop? And I think that's probably where people are a little bit more confused, given the fact that he's had a bit of a weird career and he's had a very injury blighted career where he's not played as many games as he probably should have by the time in his career. He is getting better. I mean, he did manage to play in last season quite a lot of rugby before getting injured for a couple of months, then was back, but he did still manage to play about 600 plus minutes last season, not as much as he'd like to, but the season before that, 450. So he's been progressively getting a bit better. Injuries have definitely slowed his growth. I think the biggest problem is that he's not necessarily your flashy Eben Etzebeth dominant type of lock, which, I mean, who is, apart from Eben? He is a grafter, I think, to be fair to him. I think if you look at his stats, he is a grafter. Works hard around the park, hits a lot of racks, for example. So somebody mentioned, is he a worker like Franco Master? Maybe not quite the same, but he is a grafter at the end of the day. He does work hard. He does bring a physical presence. He's not a small man. And when he tackles, he doesn't go backwards. He's 120 odd kgs, about 2 meters tall. He's big. He is very large. I can say that, with pretty confidence that that he's not somebody I would mess with. When you're in the setup and you walk past players, he is one of the bigger players out there. So he's a big lad. And I thought he's been actually pretty good in the last couple of months from a Springbok perspective. We haven't seen him playing as much for the Storm as he probably would have liked, but I thought he was pretty good against Ireland when he came on, to be fair. And they deem him good enough, and they're trying to get as much experience into him as possible. So he's an interesting selection. It is one that is quite divisive, because a lot of people are not entirely sure he should be there. A lot of people are very, very confused about the captaincy thing. I mean, if you look at other captains' options, looking at that side, considering the fact that you ideally want to have a forward as captain, Malcolm Marx has never really been captain. He's not really been captain at local sides, at his club sides, for example. So he's not really, for me, a captain's candidate. Ox and Chair also, and I mentioned those two because they are the more experienced ones. Marco van Staden also not captained a lot in his career. And apart from that, that's what he says as well, not really a captain. So, I think Ruan Okia, obviously captain Stormers, Thomas Atoy's captain at Sharks. So those are your other sort of obvious options. Ben Jason Dixon's very new. So, I mean, look, in terms of the team, there's plenty of captaincy options. You can go Lekanya, you can go Andre Pollard, you can probably go JC Creel. You could probably go Kobus Reinek as well. But we always go with the forward as captain. We always want them to be as close to the referee as possible. So, in this particular team, for example, Murat probably makes quite a lot of sense as captain, especially given the fact that he has done it several times. But let's go look at exactly what Rassie Erasmus has had to say, shall we? I'm going to go to this screen over here. Here we go. And over here, he says as follows. He says, it will be amazing to wrap up the Castle Lager Rugby Championship title this weekend, but it won't be easy, and we have a bigger picture in mind as well, which is to build squad depth with an eye on the 2027 World Cup. So remember that we win this weekend, we won the Rugby Championship. That is all done, said and buried. Good, happy days. He then says, the only way we can do that is to expose the younger players to tough opposition under difficult circumstances, and so far all of them have risen to the challenge. We're excited about the squad and to see that the younger players can do in pretty tough playing conditions with such a passionate support base in Argentina and also at a new stadium. The fact that Los Pumas are still in the running for the title for the first time ever will drive their team and supporters even more. We have no doubt we will be tested to the limit both as a team and the players as individuals, and we are excited to see how they deal with pressure that comes with playing here. So Argentina can win the Rugby Championship. They basically need to beat us with a bonus point, ideally twice, but in theory, if they were to keep us from getting any points, then I think if they were to beat us with a bonus point once and then just a win would be enough. Tall loss, to be fair, across 2 games. He then says, as follows, he said, this group of players who have played either against New Zealand and Australia or both, so they have come up against tough opposition in the last few weeks, and this weekend will be equally demanding both physically and mentally, and it excites us as a group. Many of the combinations have played together this season, and they'll all know how tough Argentina can make things for you on the day if you not pitch up and sharp and battle ready. It's also good to have a mix of youth and experience, while at the same time having a squad that boasts the physicality and X factor that we need against the Pumas. And we are excited to see what the likes of Jan Hendrik, Mani, Upheader, and Ben Jason, among others, will bring to the match. Kind of your more sort of fringe players on that sort of perspective. So let's look at some of the players and the stats. So over there, you can see where the inexperience is. Mani Liebach, just the 7 caps. Cody Armstrong's not particularly experienced with 20 caps, but he feels like he's been there for years and years. Ben Jason Dixon will be just his 5th cap. Same for Ruan Nokia. Salman will make his 10th appearance, whilst Jasper will make his 30th, so he's getting on there. And the Mark van Staden's been around the setup for a long time, but just the 22 caps off the bench. Also, lots of inexperience. Jan Hendrik Wessels, just his 3rd cap. Gersten Cup, his 7th cap, although he is still feeling a bit like a mainstay in the side. Albert Lowe, it'll be his 9th cap, and Jaden Henderson will be his 17th cap, same as Mani Liebach. But you look at Mani Liebach, there's 16 caps, 91 points. Man's grafted and scored lots of points when he has been around. Again, I think that's a change I probably would have made, is Jaden Henderson starting. Big fan of him, and think that he's I think he's just made for Test rugby, to be honest. And I think we've seen it when he does play for the Boks. Even if we haven't necessarily always seen it at the Sharks, where I think he's had a bit of a tough time in the last of the year with injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, if you look at some of the stats this weekend, Malcolm Marks looking to try. He's already the top scoring forward. He would like to become the 10th equal place of all-time try scoring list with James Small. If he were to score another try, make it 21 tries. As mentioned, Eben Smith will equal Victor Matfield's record if he takes to the field, which I'm sure he will. The Pumas have only won one of 4 tests played between the teams in Argentina in the last 10 games, which was, as mentioned, Mendoza in 2018. We've only lost twice to Argentina. We've won 9 in the last 10. So we've got a pretty good run at the moment against them. So I do think it's a team very much good enough to beat them. I don't think it's actually too much to really analyze. It's rotated where rotation's easy and pretty straightforward, and it's picking a strongest team possible with that rotation bearing in mind. So, Marco Mastad has not got a lot of game time. He's an easy selection ahead of Sia Khaleesi. Between Jan Hendrik Wessels and Jan Kobler, I would have gone Jan Kobler, but they very much rate Jan Hendrik Wessels. As a result, you're starting Malcolm Marks, fine, easy. Thomas Toy hasn't had much game time. He comes in, that's pretty easy. You can't also just keep playing Eben Etzebeth into the ground. Therefore, Sam Murat comes in. I would like to see Nico Jans van Rensburg potentially. Ben Jason Dixon is the understudy to Peter Steph Toy, so he comes in. Kobus Franak has traditionally always started whenever Faf de Klerk's not been available, so he comes in. Pollard's still playing number 110. Sasha's having something to say about that. And then we've rested Damien, so Lacanya's going to get an opportunity. So I don't think there's that many shock selections. I think there could have been more. And I would like to have seen more, to be honest. But yeah, at the end of the day, what will be interesting for me is more the end of year tour. Because traditionally, we've always blooded players during the incoming tour, more than actually the outgoing tour. But I do think that the way things have gone so far this year, but again, also having said that, it's also only 3 games at the end of year tour. No SAA games, no 4th games, so there's not as much opportunity to rotate as well. So for me, I'm very interested to see the kind of squad we're going to see at the end of the year, as well as the actual teams. And I think we'll probably go pretty strong. We'll try and win all those games, and we'll look to rebuild once again next year. So it's consistent with regards to the selections we've made. I don't think there's much more we can say about it. I've tried to explain the Salmurat situation. I think, players who got big opportunities this weekend, Ruan Nokia continues to put his hand up. Ben Jason Dixon, obviously, he came out and said he wasn't his best against Australia, and he really wants to make amends for that. So I think he's in for a big game. Thomas Toy, potentially our starting tight head moving forward. Opportunity for him to put his hand up. As always, Maxima Pimpy's kind of continuing to prove himself as he gets a bit older in a position that's pretty stacked with Cheslin, Kirtley, Kenny Moody coming through now. Phil Edel van der Merwe, I feel like he would have been, sitting on 3 or 4 games by now had he can manage to stay fit. Got that injury against Wales in that man of the match performance on debut, so frustrating from him. Albert Lowe's come in and he's really making his opportunities count. But apart from that, it's all pretty straightforward. So what are we saying? EL says, I think Pollard would be a good captain. Kulikane is saying, Trisha Fassi is up this weekend. Ziad says, I feel like it always starts, but when will the press start? It'll be up at about 8:45. There will be a press later, don't worry. CS, I don't doubt Murat as a leader, but you first have to be picked as a player, and so far he hasn't justified his selection. Well, I think the big question is, who are the other options at 4? Jean Klein is back at training for Munster, has been injured, apparently he's about to be cleared, so hopefully we'll see him at the end of your tour. Arches Neyman, a genuine option at 4, also injured at the moment. Apart from that, you look at the various different teams. Eben is the starting 4 at Sharks. Ruan Vermaak has been the starting number 4 for the Bulls. At Lions, you've got like a Ruben Schoeman. So we do have a lot of locked depth, but we don't have a massive amount of depth at 4, to be perfectly honest. Well, we do. I mean, Jean Klein, Eben Etzebeth, Arches Neyman potentially, and then Salman Murat. But yeah, we've got 2 of those players injured, and as a result, we're there. So, I mean, our options at 5, more than you can tell. I think Ruben van Heerden is, for me, should be an option at 4. Bit confused to why he's not been involved more. I really rate him. But at 5, you've got Ruan Nokia, Franco Mostert, Arches Neyman can play there. Lourt Diaga, Peter Steph Toy can play there, as we've seen. You then got Ruan Nokia, Ruben van Heerden, for example. So you've got plenty of options there. I'll be interested to see how Jason Jenkins goes. in the next year. I think he's got a potential opportunity to put himself back on the map. There's a couple of locks overseas that I think could have been on the system, could have been on the setup if they had opted to stay. So yeah, it's a position where I do think we need to go a bit of depth, and I hope he's gonna get a good game. I really hope he has a strong game this weekend. He's just such a nice guy. He's one of those guys you want him to succeed. Has had a bit of a tough start to his career, but has the talent for me to get the business done. Sean saying, 4 of our best forwards out: France, Eamon, Peter Steff, and Sear. Yeah, look, I mean, none of them are injured, for example, which is the good news. So in theory, all of them could be available next weekend. But we have gone with some rotation over there. And I mean, in terms of building depth, Thomas Toy, I mean, the pack is building depth. Not much building depth in the back line, if we're being perfectly honest. Upper is probably the only one who's getting an opportunity, and maybe looking at Lakanya Ahmed inside centre. Even with the bench, Jaden Henderson and Mani Lebok, that's not really building depth. So we're only building depth, in inverted commas, in Ben Jason, Dixon, Simon Murat, Ruan Okia, and Thomas Toy. So I think that's a bit of a stretch to really say that we're looking to build a lot of depth, because there's not that many players. I mean, look at World Cup winners. Ox, Malcolm, Thomas, they're all actually World Cup winners. Thomas was in 2019. Mark was a World Cup winner. Jasper's a World Cup winner. Kubas Rana, Andre Pollard, Maxwell Mapimpi, Kanyam, Jesse Creel, Kirk Lawrence, Vincent Koch, Eben, Kwacha, Jaden, Mani. So that's what? At 16 out of 23 are World Cup winners, which means there's only 8 who are not, which are Jan Andreves, a youngster, so that's building depth. Albert Lowe's a youngster, that's building depth. Ben Jason Dixon, Salmurat, Ruan Okia. Have I completely miscounted this? I think I might have. Camp. Is that enough? That's 6. That makes sense. No, it doesn't. I need another 2. Either way, there are a lot of World Cup winners in the side. As I said, I would like to see more Van den Berg involved. I think Nico Janssen from Rensburg was involved. I think if Kenan Moody was involved, even he is a World Cup winner, to be fair. But those are some of the youngsters that they could have, or less experienced players they could have put in. So, yeah, we are building depth to a point. I do think we could have done a bit more from that regard. I mean, I don't consider Marco Verstappen playing world of depth. He's been around the block for a long time, 22 caps to his name, World Cup winner. It's nice to have rotation, but I wouldn't say it's building depth that much from bringing in new players. But again, I suppose, he's also he's pretty young still, so you can feature the next World Cup. It's not Portugal, and it's not even Australia in terms of some of the surprise selections. It is a very, very strong team, and it's a team to go win the game. And I think maybe that'll be a good thing for example, for like a Ben Jason Dixon, who maybe has struggled a bit to play next to Marco Verstappen and Jasper Wiese, 2 very experienced players. Maybe not necessarily internationally, both of them sitting on less than 30 caps. Jasper Wiese will get to 30 this weekend, but very experienced players with regards to domestically and stuff like that, World Cup winners, and hopefully that'll really complement him. What's going to be interesting are the lineouts, because you've got young, inexperienced players in Salman Murat, Ruan Okia, and Marco Verstappen, who are Ben Jason Dixon, who are your lineout options. All pretty young. So Ruan Okia has been doing that job for the last 2 tests, and another opportunity for him to continue doing that. But that, for me, is an area as well we've not been phenomenal at, and something we probably need to work on this weekend. Whether we'll be able to get it right, well, we'll wait and see, won't we? Dow was saying to all about JJ Van der Mescht, for example. Well, I mean, again, somebody that's on the potential could be on the radar. Haven't seen him since he's left South Africa. Is playing a lot of rugby at Stade Francais over in Paris. But yeah, we're going to wrap up there, people. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. On the road to 80,000 subscribers, we're at 77.6. Would love to get to 80,000 by the end of the Rugby Championship. With regards to the content for the rest of the week, on Saturday we will be live in the morning for the Bledisloe Cup. We'll be live in the afternoon for the Currie Cup final. It will not be me though. I'm going to be at Ellis Park, so we'll have some footage and we're doing a bit of video of going to the Currie Cup final. And then we'll be live at 11 p.m. It's a bit of a late one. So I hope you guys have got your days planned out in terms of your coffee allocation, your beer allocation. Don't peak too early, is what I keep saying. Start those braais late. You want to sit down to eat at about 11. So, that braai is going on at 9:10ish. We need to plan. You need to delay this. So you almost need to have a pre-braai before the braai. You know what I'm saying? Get that fire going at 7 and put on some rashes or something. Get some snacks going. We might actually have to do a video on a pre-braai ritual with regards to what you should be doing when to try and get through the day, because this is not for the faint-hearted. And I think there's actually URC starting this weekend as well, which is also quite cool to watch. So I might even release a bit of a schedule in terms of how you get things going. But let me know what your plans are for the weekend. But that is the content schedule. We'll have a press release later tonight from Rassie Erasmus. We'll also have the rest of the presses over the weekend as well as on Saturday. And yeah, we will see you guys all over the next few days. As I said, subscribe to the channel, get us up to that 78,000 subscriber mark, and then we get to 79, then 80, then we push for 100, get that little plaque. Not sure where I'm going to put it, but yeah.
Thanks, Zina. Hi, Rassie. Hi, Andre. Hope you can hear me well. Rassie, just a question on Siya Kolisi. You took him on the tour. Was it always a plan not to play him, or something happened in the interim in the build-up to the test that he's been left out of the 23?
Yeah, hello everybody. Sorry, my voice is a bit groggy, so I'm not sure if you're going to hear me clearly. I always almost mumble a lot, trying not to. So Siya was brought here not to play, but to be on standby if somebody gets injured, but also to help lead the team off the field whilst preparing for this important game. So it was always a plan that he wouldn't play.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Zina. Hi, Rassie. Hi, Andre. Rassie, interesting center combination there with Lucanio at inside center. We know Jesse at outside. Just what would you like to see from Lucanio in the number 12 jersey?
I think that there's a few positions where you can ask the same question, but it's a very good question. Currently, we are sitting with 4 guys that can play 12 for us. We're sitting obviously with Andre Esseden, who's back from injury this week. And we have Damien, who's been arrested. We've got Andre, who can play 12. And we have Lucanio that can play 12. So we're really well stocked there. But we feel Damien really deserves a rest. And Andre, we want to start at 10 to have a nice test match controlled game, which we think we will need against the Argentinians. So yeah, for Lucanio is linking up with the guys, making his magic, but also be really physical in that channel. It's going to be very important.
Steven?
Thank you very much, Z. Rassie, just want to check with you. When is Siya going for the op on his... Yes?
We also Siya, it's not a thing that it has to be reset after 2 weeks exactly. So he can still play next week at Mbombela and then get it reset. So it's something that, yeah, it can be done after, not before 2 weeks, not longer than, I think, 4 or 6 weeks. So he's in that time frame where that will be fixed after Mbombela test match.
Dag sê Andre, as net kortliks, as jy in jou besluitnemers hierdie span saamstel meneer, en dit mag dalk so 'n dom vraag voorkom, is dit 'n span wat gekies word om 'n toets te wen teen Argentinië, of kies jy hierdie groep spelers om game time te kry, nie Afrikaanse woord nie. Is die fokus op 'n toets te wen of 'n Grand Slam te wen hier in die kompetisie, of gee jy spelers game time mee? En Andre, as 'n ervare speler, hoe sien jy uit na hierdie uitdaging in Argentinië teen die passievolle span?
Ja, precies. Hallo man. Ja, maar ik denk mijn stem zal hou, so dat is alright. Dat is een goede vraag. Maar al die ouwens wat in hierdie game speel, al 23, was betrokken tegen Australië of Nieuw-Zeeland. So dit is nie heeltemal nuwe ouetjies wat ingegooi word nie. Dis eintlik 'n ervare jong span, as ek dit so kan noem. En dis 'n span wat ons dink kan dit vir ons doen hierso. En dis 'n span waardeur ons lesse wil leer van ouens se karakter. Daar's jong ouens aan sy agterom op fullback. Daar's 'n jong agste man op die bank. Daar's 'n jong slot kaptein. Daar's 'n 'n jong 5-snot wat lyn staan met roep teen ervare spelers. So vir ons is dit 'n ideale geleentheid om hierdie ouens in 'n situasie te sit vir 'n amper 'n final is. En as hulle die final was die week wen, obviously as volgende week baie met minder druk op ons. So dis die plan.
Hallo Percy. Ja, sien verskriklik baie uit. Dis altyd 'n baie groot lekker challenge in Argentina. Dis altyd baie fisies. Maar is taaf, is lekker. En soos Koos gesê het, is 'n ding waar jy baie kan sien van nou se karakter. En die ouens sien verskriklik baie uit daarna. Dit is 'n groot challenge, maar dis lekker en ons kan nie wag vir die challenge wat gaan kom Saterdag.
Grant?
Thanks, Z. How's it, guys?
Goed, dankie.
Russ, just in terms of the development of the Boks squad, how do you see the blend of the attack and defense now, and how pleased are you that you're so close now to getting the Rugby Championship title?
Yeah. First of all, it would be great to win the Rugby Championship title. That's obviously our main goal. First, it was the Freedom Cup. That's done now. And now it's the Rugby Championship. But we are playing against a team that got their future in their hands as well. You know, if they beat us with 5 points or 5 points, they win it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to go for it. And what they did to Australia and to New Zealand, it's going to be really tough. But we're also very desperate. We're also very proud. They are very proud. We know how the crowds are here. And the older guys has told the younger boys what it will be like on that field. And if you get through a game in Argentina on the other side and you're standing and you look your body in the eye and say, I gave everything, win or lose, you'll be a better player. So the aim is to win the Rugby Championship this weekend, but we all know it's not going to be easy.
Annemie?
Thank you, Zina. Hi, everyone. Rassie, obviously, if you win this game, you bag the championship. Can we expect that going into Mbombela, then you might pick a similar side to the one that played against Portugal, maybe give more younger guys caps under the belt?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, we had our times when we experimented with almost 15, like this weekend, 10 new guys, 10 new guys is playing this weekend. Sometimes we added 1 or 2 new guys, but we're now at a stage where we feel, you know, this game is the last one where we will really experiment, and then we'll go next week, play the final match in South Africa. There might be 1 or 2 youngsters who get into the mix, or actually ahead of the older guys, but we won't just give guys caps there and at a home game, the last game of the Rugby Championship, give the crowd not a proper, not that the team that played against Portugal was not proper, but we will probably go with our strongest possible selection there.
Lloyd?
Thanks, C. How's it, guys? My question is for Andre. Andre, yet another World Cup cycle that you find yourself in the middle of now. I'm just wondering what excites you most about where you are now, where the Boks are now, compared to the previous, stages you've been at in terms of building up to another World Cup. What is it now for someone who's achieved so much in the game? What is it about this group that's exciting you the most at the moment?
Hi, Lloyd. No, listen, I think it's this time around it's special because we actually have the whole 4-year cycle. Of course, last time after the World Cup we missed out on those first couple of years, and I think that's those first 2 years are where you really build and experiment and try new things, and you can of course hear in our game with Tony and Jerry and the new guys coming in. So it's really exciting. Every week is a new challenge, and listen, we just we take it week by week, but we know there's a bigger plan and a bigger future plan going forward. But honestly, to play with these young guys coming through these days, of course, some of the older dogs still here. So it's just a good blend. And I think it really excites us because we're in a good place, but we always want more. We always want to become better, and we're always striving to go up another level. So the excitement's certainly there.
Kanyiso?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, guys. Rassie, what have you learned about Argentina in the Australia and New Zealand games that is different about them from the World Cup and in previous cycles?
Yeah, I actually think they got the ability of making the game really fast and open, and a lot of their players has come from the seven system, like Sinti and those guys. Sinti, how do you say, Sen, and outside center, and a lot of them the short winger, and then you've got the tough boys in front. Montoya and the captain, and then the sixth rank and the eighth man, what's the big boy? Lavanini. So they really have a blend of big, solid pack of forwards, but speed in the backs. And the moment it gets a little bit loose, unstructured, they thrive on that. So we also want to play when it's loose and open and the opportunities on. But I think we want to keep it a little bit more structured than them. I think they like it really loose. And the moment New Zealand gave them that and Australia gave them that, they were beaten. So hopefully we don't give them that.
John?
Thanks, Zina. Hi, Rafi. Hi, Andre. Just for Andre, you spoke about the World Cup cycle now going towards 2027, but your role has also been different in the team now, playing also a sort of mentorship role also for guys like Sasha and Mani in the team. How have you found that role coming for you now, getting towards that part of your career where you are experienced campaigner now, and also sharing that bit of advice to the younger guys coming through?
Yes, yeah, I'm not that old, but no, listen, it's fun, man. It's fun. These guys are so exciting, and they're eager to learn, which is nice. And I mean, just like when we were young, guys helped us, you know. So it's not about. I think it's a good thing is there's healthy competition in the group in every single position, which is nice. But we all got the same goal, and it's always bigger than the individual. So it's nice if we can help the young guys with one or two things. Great. We certainly learning a lot from them as well as older guys, you know. You got to always try and develop and stay fresh and try new things, which is nice. The new guys bring that. So, yeah, it's enjoyable, it's competitive, but it's just really good.
We can maybe latch onto that. Somebody earlier asked about Sia. So the one thing we also want to do is get Sia in the coach's box, because we've got Dwayne on the side who relay the messages to Sia on the field and to the decision makers on the field, but he actually doesn't know what's happening in that coach's box. So we really want to give him a feel also how we get to a good decision, or how do we send a message down so that he understands the whole process from the coach's box to Dwayne or Andy or Anaran or Renee or Doc on this side. And I think the moment Dwayne said there 2 years ago, he had a new understanding of how to interpret information which they receive, and we hope to get the same of Sia this weekend.
Anne? Anne, can you hear us? Okay, let's go to Stephen.
Thanks very much, Z. Rassi, someone who wrote you spoke very well the other day of him, you know, of his qualities in terms of leadership. How do you see him, his qualities as a player develop? What is it that you really like him about him as a player, and then also as a human being?
Yeah, as a human being, I think this whole group is. I think we've got the right players on the bus, with a couple of guys who are still injured and they were not banned. Jasper is back, but some guys were banned. But the group we currently have with about 15 other players. Jean Klein, Sasha's out now, Archie is coming back. Jean Klein is coming back. Gaza's coming back. So Jansha is coming back. Kitty. So the group that we pick is that makes it. What were your questions? Sorry. I wanted to explain it or something. Salman, Salman, sorry about that. So for Salman, the kind of leader he is, he actually brings something very special to the party, and that's for me a real calmness. He doesn't get excited, but he stays physical. He tackles really well. He defends well. He scrums well. He mauls well. He stops mauls well. He's not that dynamic in his carries, but he's really working hard at it. But with that aggression that we get from him as a front lock, we also get a calmness and the way he talks with the referee, the way he manages a team with Polly at the back being the vice captain. It's really, it's a very mature way, and it's something that we all enjoy.
Right?
Sorry, did you say me, Zina? I lost you there.
Okay, hand is still up. Ashfaq?
Thanks, Z. Andre, just people love you for your goal kicking from the World Cup last year, but they forget the guy that used to take the outside gap against Scotland and All Blacks back in the day when you were coming through the system. And now you've got a new attack coach in Tony Brown. How have you found him and his ideas? And I know Rashi's spoken about evolution of the attack and adding more strings to the bow there. How have you enjoyed that?
Yes, we've really enjoyed it a lot. Ashfaq. It's been really good. It's been fresh. It's we had a great foundation, and Antonius has come in and just taken it to the next level. Of course, it's a process. It's still going to take some time for it to be where we want it to be, but he's just unlocking skill sets all over the field. Forwards using some more skill that they're used to, not just running straight lines. It's really fun, and I think there's so many opportunities for us now. And the more we can create space for those outside backs that we have, probably the best outside backs in the world, the better. But of course, there will be little opportunities here and there where we can also express ourselves through the middle of the pitch. But in general, Tony's been brilliant, and we're really enjoying working with him.
Mariano?
Hi, Sina and everybody. I'm Mariano from ESPN Argentina. Welcome to Argentina at first. And I have two questions. One for Rassi about the weather. How do you deal with the weather in Santiago? Almost 38 degrees for Saturday. And then to Andre, an opinion about Santiago Carreras and Tomás Albornoz, both options that Argentina has as fly halves. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for saying us being welcome here. We really feel welcome in this hotel. So the big thing with the heat is in South Africa, it gets sometimes 42 degrees. So we used to the heat, and we trained in the heat today. We'll train again tomorrow in the heat and yesterday. So, we come from a country that the heat's the same. So I don't think that will bother us.
Yeah, on the two flyers, I think Carreras and Albornoz is two little bit different players. Of course, one's right-footed, left-footed. They each bring their own thing. Carreras is a bit more of a strike runner in the wider channels, and Albornoz controls the game a bit more probably. So, I mean, they both bring something different. Both very good rugby players. We're going to have to be very sharp in shutting them down. But yeah, we'll see who they select, and we'll take it from there.
Kaniso?
Thank you very much, Zina. Got a short two-pronged question, Rassi. Firstly, what have you learned about your locks in the mini crisis that nearly occurred when Ergier had his knee knock, his foot injury, even having that slight niggle that he had? And also, are you able to update us on the other walking wounded who are part of the wider box squad?
Yeah, firstly, let's talk about the wider guys. I was outside. The only real guys who's close to returning, Sasha will only be ready for the end of year tour with a knee. John plays this weekend for Munster. He's starting this weekend for Munster. Ergier is still, it was 6 weeks, I guess he'll be ready for end of year tour or electable. And then Sous will be ready for the end of year tour. And Gaza, Damian Willems can play the weekend. So, and those are the current guys who's the short term are ready. The other guys is long term. I think Kitchi I'm not 100% sure about his injury, but I think he's might be a few months. So yeah, that's a good thing. And the other question was?
Before that, are you able to expand on Sasha? What is his injury? Sorry, Doug, you've mentioned him. What is Sasha? What is the nature of Sasha's injury?
A knee injury. He injured his knee before the first test match against All Blacks, and he played in that game. And then the Wednesday the next week, I asked him why he limping, and he said no, he injured his knee last week. And I actually then wanted to pull him out of the team because he was limping, and on the field even. And that's what our players must understand. When a young guy, we have respect for everybody, but we must be honest when it comes to injuries. Nobody who's got injury who's 80% ready are better in the Springbok that has no injuries who's 100% ready. So yeah, Sasha is lucky that we actually won those test matches. Of course, you know, he gambled a bit, and he's having the op now. It's a knee. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with the knee, but it will be only ready in 4.5 weeks.
We'll take the last English question from Craig.
Thanks, Ina. Rassie, just talking about Argentina, Caniso's question about them earlier, are they one of the trickier sides to analyze in the sense that, you know, they do lots of, you know, the consistency has been up and down. And if you take that last 20 minutes against Australia, the kind of offloading game you were talking about, but I guess that came from the fact that they weren't getting knocked backwards and there wasn't massive intensity from the Aussie defense. Are they a difficult side to analyze in that sense?
Yeah, I think if you ask Mr. Luca there, he would know. I think with Contepone becoming the coach here, they are Argentinian team again. You can see they do the things that they did in the old days. They don't have a competition where the franchises can play, and so you have to watch a guy who plays French top 14, guy who play in the Scottish League or the URC or the Premiership, and somehow he gets them together and they go and beat New Zealand in New Zealand and they smash Australia. So that just shows you there's massive character. And when you walk in the street here, we see a lot of what we see in South Africa. There's some people who really struggle and go through tough times.
Right, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is Test match evening down in South Africa because it is almost 11 o'clock at night, and that is the time that we will have and kick off. Or actually, it's even later than that. Actually, they've even flipping made it even later than what we thought it was going to be. So it's going to be a late one, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the stream. If you are in South Africa, good evening. If you are over in Argentina, for example, I think it's good afternoon. And if you're in Australia, New Zealand, the likes, quite even good. Well, I suppose it's actually like 1, 2 a.m. Type of thing over there. So yeah, I mean, good morning, good evening, and the likes to everybody. But welcome is the main thing that we're talking about here to the stream, because it's almost time to kick off. We've got to kick off in about half an hour's time over at in Argentina, and a very, very big evening ahead with the Boks potentially sealing the Rugby Championship this evening, and very, very exciting to see if we can get the job done this evening, because, you know, it's been an interesting Rugby Championship for the Boks because we actually haven't lost the game yet. So a potential for us to wrap up the Rugby Championship and to put in one of the most dominant performances in the Rugby Championship in a long, long time, which is really, really cool, because it's a tournament that has eluded us as of late, and I think it's one of those things where at the moment it's been such an interesting tournament with regards to different teams being at different stages of their sort of development and the likes, and you know, for once South Africa is kind of sitting there in a situation where we've been looking really, really good, and long may that can continue, to be perfectly honest, because that hasn't always been the case. We've been as consistently good as we currently are at the moment for a number of years. And yeah, we're looking at 80 minutes of rugby ahead to potentially win the Rugby Championship. Get our hands on that trophy. Win the first ever full edition of a Rugby Championship. For us, we've obviously won the Tri-Nations, but every single time we have won the Rugby Championship, it has actually been a truncated Rugby Championship, in that it wasn't a full season, for example, that there was usually Rugby World Cup year. We won it was back in 2019. We won it back in as well. So we've won it when it's been truncated. We haven't won a full one as of yet. So that is something we need to try and fix. And hopefully we're going to try and fix that this evening by getting the results. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to it as well. And let's do a check-in, shall we? Let's find out where everybody is watching from all around the world. Let me know country, city, for example, who are you supporting? We've got a poll running in the comments as well. Go and vote on that poll. Let me know who you are supporting and what your thoughts are of the game as well. We're going to have a look at the team and see some of the changes, the 10 changes that Rugby has made. A new captain, for example, Samuel Murat will captain tonight. New back row, Jason Dixon, Marco Verstappen, Jasper Visa. A interesting selection off the bench. Hendrik Vest getting an opportunity. The Kanyam partner, Jesse Creel. So a lot of exciting selections this evening and a lot of interesting combos. So very keen to see how this is all going to sort of play out. But in terms of the changes that we make, we'll have a look at them in a moment. Before we do that, he said, please do a check-in. See, keen observers really jumped in there saying, watching from Newington, UK, and supporting the Bokke. So I want to do a check-in. Let me know where you're watching from. And let's have a look at exactly how the two teams are lining up, shall we? And when we get back, I will sort of pick that apart, look at some of the battles, for example, and see where this game might be won and lost. Right, so as you can see, plenty of changes being made by Rassie Erasmus, and some big games for some big individuals tonight, because some of them have really great opportunities so far this year. Some of them have at certain stages and haven't at others. And I think, Ben Jason Dixon really is the player to me that sort of springs to mind with regards to a player who had a really good start, but then had a very average game, unfortunately, against Australia, where he was hooked in the first half. Now, Rassie Erasmus came out and basically said, everybody can have a bad game. They really do back him long term, for example, and they see him as the natural place for Pieter-Steph du Toit. He, in fact, even came out and acknowledged that it wasn't his strongest game, but that he will be back, and that, playing for the Springboks means the world for him, and he's going to make sure he doesn't have another, bad game like that once again. So I think players like that, for example, for me, it's going to be really interesting to see how he goes this evening. Similarly, players like Jan-Hendrik Wessels, who's been given an opportunity tonight, has really sort of been thrust upon the international stage quite early in his career, and not to say he's not deserving, but very interesting to see that I think he's a player that doesn't actually start for his union, and yet even play really for his union, as he is getting another opportunity this evening. So let's have a look at the side and sort of see where the interesting ones are with regards to the ones to watch out, for example. So you got and it would help actually if I put the right blooming team up here. So give me 2 seconds. I'll just update that in a sec. But Salmud is indeed captaining. So that part is correct. But Jan-Hendrik Wessels not starting. That was, in fact, I think the Portugal team, actually. Or could have been the first Australian test. So let me get the right team onto here, and then we can discuss it a bit more in length. Interesting as well. Well, I mean, for me, I always find it very interesting whenever Koos Rana gets an opportunity, because he is an older player, and you sort of wonder, when might they look at sort of potentially even phasing him out in the coming months, years, if that isn't a thing, if they are looking to phase him out. So just getting the right team over here, and then we can go through it. And have I got it? No, still got the wrong team. It's not going well. Malcolm Marx starting, good to see him, and very excited to see what he can do. Carl Stennekamp continue to get opportunities at tight end. Make me actually for Thomas du Toit. I think he's a player who is really on the radar for the next World Cup, and a big game tonight could really up that prospect of him going to the next World Cup. He is a World Cup winner. He was part of the setup back in 2019, and kind of fell away. With the fitness of Cherry Nikani, for example, who had those issues back in 2019. Right, so that is our team for this evening. So that's front for Oxford Chair, Malcolm Marx, Thomas du Toit. I think scrummaging-wise, that's a very good scrum. And I really do think that they can really have a go at the Argentina scrum, which I think for me is an Argentina scrum that can be taken on, to be perfectly honest. I think that they've got some nice players in that front row, but I generally think that it's not a formidable scrummaging outfit. I do think it is a scrum which we can have a go at, and I think if we can get that sort of that ascendancy come scrum time, then that makes a big difference for us. I think that it would be a huge platform, obviously, to build from. And if you've got that set piece, if you're dominating the set piece, then life becomes just in general so much easier. And hopefully we can get that ascendancy nice and early, because if we can, then the entire game becomes a lot easier from that perspective. If we look at other sort of selections, so Ruan Loke continues in the number 5 jersey. Salman Murat will captain the side in that number 4. I think it would be a third time captaining the box. Very highly rated by the Springbok coaches, and whether you think he's good enough or not, we don't make the selections. And he is somebody who's been backed by the box, kind of about management at all times. They've seen him from youngsters, for example. He is the kind of the protege, really, in terms of a player who they've wanted to get into the system quite quickly, and they've always seen him as a long-term captaincy option, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't really been able to stay fit for long periods of time, where he hasn't been able to sort of put together multiple matches in a row to get him to that system nice and early. So now, he's managed to stay fit. He did get injured a bit early on in the championship, and I think he missed out on a couple of games. He probably would have been involved. And that's what Steve was saying. He probably would have been involved against New Zealand. But he's got an opportunity once again tonight to captain the side. Marco Verstappen, Ben Sticks, and Jasper Visa. I think it's a fantastic loose chair. That could very well be our loose chair at the next World Cup, to be honest. Marco Verstappen, Ben Sticks, Jasper Visa, all from an age-wise, will get there quite comfortably. Will all be in their prime, really. So that is a very interesting loose chair. We are looking at a potential loose chair of the future. Kobus Reinach partnering Honje Pollard in that 9-10 combo. And Pollard starting probably suggests the kind of game plan here. Dominate up front, get those scrum penalties, for example, take the 3, build a lead, win the Rugby Championship. The Kanyam Jesse Creel, that's a combination that really excites me. I do think the Kanyam, who started his career at 12, has got everything in the bank that he needs to operate at 12. And Jesse Creel's been so good at 13. And again, I think if they find that sort of utility in a Kanyam, it gives them that license when they go to sort of automation series or stuff like that, to not necessarily take an extra centre, for example, in the form of like an Andre Esterhazen. It gives them options to maybe just take a Lekanya, Jesse Creel, Kanan Moody, Damien Delendi, and between those 4 players, they cover lots of different positions. Upley Fasti back into the side, kind of as expected, really. And then if you look at the bench, it's 6-2 split. Jaden Henderson, Marley Leibach, the 2 backline players. Hopefully, we're going to see about half an hour from Marley Leibach. Looking at the ground and the pictures from the stadium, it looks absolutely immaculate. And looks like the perfect conditions for some really, really good running rugby. So I really hope that we're going to see Marley Leibach get some game time and get some decent game time this evening, because he hasn't had as much game time as he probably would have liked to have had so far in the Rugby Championship. In fact, he's had no game time in the Rugby Championship. He had that game against Portugal, but that's kind of it. So we're going to go through some of the stats in terms of some people always ask, kind of what are the caps and the weights and stuff like that. So we'll go through both the teams just now in a second, and then when we get back, it'll almost be time for the national anthems. But we asked a couple people, we did a bit of a check-in earlier, so we'll go back and read some of that and see where everyone is watching from. Really good to see that we are pretty international in and around the chat. So we had a couple people coming in from the UK, for example. Obviously, a lot of people in and around South Africa, which is pretty standard. Cornet comes saying that he's in Kimberley. Of course, we're saying he's a Bok fan. Hilton saying it's a very early morning from South Korea. Code Puncher watching from South England. So far, a couple of people in England. Anton was watching from Canada. So please continue to let us know where you are watching from and who you are supporting. And when we get back from looking at the teams, we're going to do a score prediction and get everybody's scores in and stuff like that. So while we're showing you the teams, please do smash like on the video. Over 1,000 people watching, just 116 likes. Let's see if we can get back from the team lines. We can have more than 150 likes. Literally, if half of you like the video right now, we go well over 500, 600. So those watching from Kaapstad, from Cyprus, Northern Ireland, from the Republic of South Africa, from Man Africa, SA, please keep checking in. Dylan Lewis and watching from Abu Dhabi. Centrally watching from Acacia. Keep checking in. Give me a score. We'll do score predictions when we get back. But all of you, please do like the video. And let's have a look at Argentina also lining up, which is going to be an interesting one in themselves, because they've had an interesting Rugby Championship. They are technically, mathematically, still in it. And from that perspective, it's going to give them a lot of confidence. They've beaten New Zealand in New Zealand, and why wouldn't they fancy themselves against a South African side who have had to be at their best to beat that New Zealand side, which Argentina have beat in New Zealand as well. So I'm just trying to sort my mouth out, which has decided to stop working. Aha. So yeah, let's have a look at the Argentina side, because I think there's some nice players in it, and I think that there's lots of players that we probably should be quite wary of. Is probably the right word. But let's have a look at exactly what Felipe Contaponi has got cooking up for us. When we're back, we're going to go through the national anthems, and then we'll have kickoff.
a su trono dignísimo abrieron las provincias unidas del sur y los libres del mundo responden al gran pueblo argentino, salud. Al gran pueblo argentino, salud. Y los libres del mundo responden al gran pueblo argentino, salud. Y los libres del mundo responden al gran pueblo argentino, salud. Sean eternos los laureles que supimos conseguir, que supimos conseguir, coronados de gloria, vivamos. Oh, juremos con gloria a morir. Oh, juremos con gloria a morir. Oh, juremos con gloria a morir.
Right, and we are just about ready for kickoff over in Argentina as the clock ticks down 5, 4, 3, a 2, and a 1. And there we go. A slight delay in kickoff, and right against the touchline was Jasper Wiese, who I think has done very, very well to keep it in. He has indeed done very, very well to keep it in. So we do have kickoff as Marco Verstappen is the first ball carrier for South Africa. Nice solid carry from the number 6. And just remember that it is a Rugby Championship title on the line here. Kubus running. I think actually I was almost charged down, actually. from Argentina, but he does find touch. Christoph Ridley, by the way, the man in the middle, I think his first ever time officiating the Springboks. A young referee, Christoph Ridley, and hopefully we also don't talk about him too much, because I think that's always a mark of a referee doing a good job. We're not talking about them too much, and that's an early knock-on from Argentina, and the 31-year-old English referee does agree, and we'll have our first scrum within the first minute, which is exciting times for a Springbok fan, because we kind of live for them, don't we? We live for our scrums. That's what we do. we drink brandy and we scrub. You know, it's the two things that make us very happy here down south. So first scrum early on here, and Oxen Chair, Thomas Toy will be the two that'll be looking to really have a go at this Argentinian side. In the Argentina front row, it will be Thomas Gajlo, who's currently actually getting some attention, and Joel Slavi in the tight tier. Julio Montoya, the Argentinian captain, over 100 test caps to his name. He will be anchoring that scrum in the middle, and he'll be up against Malcolm Marks, who gets a bit of a rare start these days, to become a regular off the bomb squad. So it's a bit of a break and play before we can get to the scrum. Right, so what are our score predictions, people? What are we thinking here? What are we thinking? I asked earlier, well, somebody asked earlier, one of the admins asked earlier in the chat. I don't think too many people get them. So what are the score predictions, people? And it's a nice early scrum there. And I think it was penalty advantage. Well, Pollard fires it out to Upper Fassi. Who goes out to Curtly Orenser, who's bundled into touch, and will go back for the advantage. So first scrum, first penalty, and that should hopefully be a sign of things to come with regards to how the scrums are going to be, because if we can get that scrum dominance, start getting some scrum penalties inside their own half, and then we start starting over penalties. So Craig Morgan saying reckons 25-20 to the box. Bruce J has come with a 21-15 to the box as well, and John Johan's now coming with a 32 points to 17, getting a bit more aggressive, a bit more confident with some of the score lines there. So we're going with a bit of a larger margin. Sean's gone with a 34 points to 12 prediction to the Boca. So we are getting a little bit more bold with our predictions. Mikel Amor reckons a high-scoring game today, and saying Box 37 points to 20. Remy Fisk going with 21-19. A close game then for Martin James, going with 36-15. Ronald here, by the way, we're inside the 22. Goes up and takes it well. Malcolm Marks will be trying to get the ball off the back. He is the record try scorer for Springbok forwards, and is currently, I think, tied with James Small in about 6th or 7th place for the most record scorer. Now Pollard fires long. Oh, that's so easy! And Fassi goes over within 4 minutes. That's the perfect start. Pollard and Lakanya combining a nice pass off Pollard and up in the Fassi. Well, I'm going to tell you what, Contrapony will be fuming with that, but what a try it is to start. Mapimpi drawing in the play. There's so much space there. Preset move. They pop up from Lakanya, fired out by Pollard, and just such a good angle from up in the Fassi. He's got all the pace in the world. He goes over, and well, he wanted a strong start. We're not always strong in this Rugby Championship, but that is exactly what we need to see and what we wanted to see. The weekend special on a Saturday night, a late Saturday night here in South Africa, as Andre Pollard will look to add the extra 2, and no issues there from the man who's got tries to his name already. Yeah. And looking at some of the other predictions, by the way, Charles Myburg was going 30 points to 17. Lakanya Steti going with 30 points to 11. And Mark Borg gets 50 points to 14. Well, I'll tell you what, if we score every 5 minutes or within that sort of time, then maybe that kind of score could be on the cards here. Bevan Hurl gone with a 37-21 prediction, and a nice take from Ronald Kier off the kickoff. So the perfect start here really for the men in green and gold. Kubas Reinhardt goes to Salman Murat, the captain for today. Needs a strong game. Penalty advantage for offside, says Christoph Ridley. So a bit of a free roll at the dice. Apollo chipping over the top. Upleader Fassi to give chase. Almost managing to gather. And no advantage. They'll go back for the penalty. Ill discipline killing Argentina already. They conceded 2 early penalties as well as an early knock on there. So not started well yet. Felipe Contepone's men, the Springboks, however, have started very, very well. And Bruce, as a result, reckons he's going to change his mind and go 122 to 3 to the box. Evans coming with a 45 points to 15 prediction. So, yeah, a lot of people are suddenly going quite bold as a result of that try. It's another good touch finder coming from Andre Pollard. And there's 5.5 minutes on the pot. I mean, how nice would it be to just go and rack up the tries and go into the bonus point, for example, put the Rugby Championship to bed, bring back it to Mbombela and watch Ebenezer break Victor Matfield's record in a Rugby Championship lifting day. Now, Jasper saw the back of the lineup just before the 22, moves to the right, Kubas Reinhardt, goes somewhere, popping up to Andre Pollard. Andre Pollard looking for a bit of gap. Nice carry from him. He's got a lot to prove, as Andre Pollard at the moment. Nakazuma Pimpy taking it into contact and available for Kubas Reinhardt. Quick ball. He goes to Salman Murat, pops it short to Thomas du Toit. Now right to the left-hand side. Fires Malcolm Marks, pops it up to Andre Pollard, to Lukanya and Jesse Creel's let it go there. I don't know if he thought there was a play on the outside there. Maybe he didn't back himself to be able to catch and decided to give us to see the line. Bit of a strange one, that. It will be an Argentina line-out. But nice pace of play to the game at the moment from the box. Right, Julio Montoya, the Argentinian captain, with ball in hand and no contest from the box. And it will be cleared downfield from Carreras. And kept in by Maxima Pimpy. Goes inside to Upleader Fassi, the try scorer. He sends it downfield from Pimpy to give chase. Good take, and the solid tackle coming from Lukanya wearing the number 12 jersey tonight, and digging forward is Gonzalo Bertino. He comes up, and Joel Slavi is made hard in the tackle by his opposite number, Thomas du Toit. Turn the ball now here for South Africa, and Cody Arnter comes away with it. Ball available for Rana. He goes to the left-hand side. Murat pops it up to Lukanya Andre Pollard. Pass out wide to Upleader Fassi looking for options. Upleader Fassi drifting. Now Maxima Pimpy. Big counter coming from Argentina, where ball is available for Kubas Reinhardt. He goes to Oxen Chair. His first carry of the day on a nice angle there. Reinhardt now, not too many options. Starts to go himself. Tackle releases the call from Mr. Ridley. Showing go from Ben Jason Dixon. And he puts it off that away to Ruan Nokia. Needs a bit of support here. Ben Jason Dixon is there. Good work there. And Jesse Creel on the angle. Jesse Creel goes straight through and under the poles. How easy is that? Well, I'll tell you what, let's get those re-thought about score predictions in, because that is 2 tries in the first 10 minutes, and jeepers, that's even easier. Oh, so that's for we'll pop up there. This is really good for Bruno here. And then I think Jesse Creel sees the gap. He makes the call and bang. It's a criminal from Jacques Oviedo, who's just shifting to the left, creates that gap, and it's a mismatch, really. Pedro Violo and Jacques Oviedo, two big forwards, a gap in between. Jesse Creel, like a hot knife through butter, says thank you very much, hits the gap, and he goes over without basically being touched. And Pollard says, thank you very much. And South Africa up 14 points to 0 within 9 minutes. What a start this is. We did see this start from New Zealand. They did kind of fade off. But genuinely, we've not faded off. And that's kind of the whole bomb squad thing, isn't it? We kind of grow into the game. And we've still got lots of big players to come on the bench in that second half. So what a start this is. This is worth staying up for. This is worth the cold we've had in Johannesburg, and it's another good take from Munokia out. I tell you what, Argentina in the first 9 minutes haven't touched the ball. They've had 2 line-outs, and one they dropped, and the other one they had to clear their lines, and that's been it. Marcus Norman Pimpy will give chase on Kubas Reinhardt's kick. It was a bit of a push there, but it's come forward of Argentina, and there's a penalty. It looked like it was a push from a Pimpy, so it's another penalty for Argentina, who conceded about 4 or 5 within the first 10 minutes. Contepone must be absolutely losing his mind. And we are seeing some new score predictions. Craig Morgan with 50 points to 27. Rian Knott going with 45 points to 14. Martin James saying 58 to 12. Raymond Bissana saying 55 to 7. And yeah, there's a slight delay at the moment with our data feed. So the score is slightly delayed. It will update eventually. There are a couple of issues currently coming from Argentina themselves. So whilst the clock is correct, it will update shortly. It is 14 points to 0. And we've managed to find ourselves back at Argentina territory with an attacking line as well. And almost a bit of a fumble there from Murno Kia. Then he drops the ball backwards is the call from the referee. Ball is eventually available for Reinach. That's Pavisa takes it into contact. It's just inside the 22. Reinach looking for options. Pops up. Thomas Toy is coming around the corner. Driven backwards is the Toy. Pick up and go from Malcolm Marks. Joel Slavi makes a good tackle eventually. Good awareness from the tight head from Argentina. Now Pollard goes to Lekanya. Short to Jesse Creel. Beating one. Ball available for Reinach. Looking for options here. And yeah, that's really poor from Reinach. He gets the timing completely wrong. Pollard's almost sort of ahead of him. He loses it forward. Turnover ball. He has Marcus Kramer. Waits for a couple of options. Actually sends it all the way back to Carreras, who does, sorry, Thomas Albanose rather, who does clear the lines, but only as far as Apele Fassi, who wants to run this back, I think. Bit of a goose step there, and into the 10-meter line on the right-hand side. Now to the left-hand side as Marks goes to Pollard. Pollard with a cross kick now towards Jesse Creel, and it's fallen into his hands through the hand of Cheapers. Well, on the back door from Jesse Creel. Literally just tossed it behind his head, straight into the hands of Ben Jason Dixon. Silky from Creel. I mean, what are these guys eating over there? This is one of the most ridiculously good for another penalty. We're not going to take the points here. Go for the pole. Go for the line here. The intensity at the moment. I mean, this might be one of the best 12-minute periods I've ever seen from the Springboks. I don't think I've ever seen South Africa start this well. It is absolutely mental. We are taking the points. It's an interesting decision. Look, I mean, I suppose the first priority is to win the game. That is the big thing that Rassie Erasmus spoke about, the fact that, you know, we're here to win the game, win the Rugby Championship. That is the be-all and end-all of this game. It's got nothing to do with how we play. We are trying to blood a few players, but the big thing is win this game. And the score is updated just in time for it to hopefully change again. Andre Pollard makes no mistake, dissects the poles there, and South Africa take a 17-0 lead in the 13th minute. What a start this has been. I might have said that once or twice, but it really has been. It has been absolutely sensational so far. Right, deep restart there. Jasper Bisa underneath it. Good take from him. Right, because that's a good clearance, and we'll find touch here. Will they look to use quickly? No, they won't. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the first time Argentina are actually going to have opportunity with ball in hand. Almost 14 minutes in. The possession stats must be absolutely mental right now. Generally, it was probably about South Africa about 90%. Got to find a way back into this game to Argentina. Now at the back there, Perez goes to Albanose. Big, just great tackle from Jesse Creel. Such a good read there. And he goes and makes a big hit on Lucio Cinti's opposite number. A lovely player, Lucio Cinti. Really enjoy watching. Now, Thomas Albanose gets away from one. Lekanya having to make the tackle. Quick ball here from Bertrand. And it's spaced all of a sudden. And Chukabane goes, oh no, they're going to hit back. They're going to hit back. Well, I'll tell you what, this is the problem with Argentina. They are also dangerous with ball in hand. They've been starved of possession. They've had their first opportunity, and they've taken it. And over they go. Through Macho Carreras, pretty poor defending, it must be said, from the box. And Macho Carreras, it's amazing. One slip tackle, Pollard misses it. Lucanio has to make the tackle. Then there's a bit of a numbers issue. And the ball back inside. Malcolm started and then slips the tackle. 2-on-1 situation. Yeah, Chukwueze draws in and updated fast. He fires it out to Mateo Carreras, who says, thank you very much. One thing that you cannot do against the Argentinian side is switch off, because they can punish you in a heartbeat, like we've just seen. You know, they went behind against Australia and then went to put a record score against them. So this is a good Argentinian side. They might not have started well, as Albanos makes no mistakes and adds the extra 2. But they are a dangerous side. Deep restart this from Pollard. And Chukwueze is actually the man who created that try underneath it. And ball at the top, and it's well taken from Ben Jason Dixon, just outside the 22. We are working on the scoreboard. A bit of space down the right-hand side here. Bethany has found a bit of space. Huge tackle coming from Apple Fassi. Good work there. Argentina full of running with the ball in hand. Now Albanos, long pass out wide to the midfield. They need a shift here. Got a shift. Kurt Lawrence made a commitment, and Mateo Carreras now comes across. Working hard in the tackles, Mateo Carreras. Not the biggest player by any means, but full of commitment is Carreras. And out on the right-hand side go Argentina. Tell you what, they're not here to stuff around. And a bit of space straight in the middle goes Oviedo. And Bertino, double tackle coming from Apple Fassi. Big tackle there. Malcolm Marks over the ball. Malcolm Verstappen rather. And he has turned it over with a penalty advantage. And no advantage, says the referee. Will go back for the penalty. Really good work there from Malcolm Verstappen. And yeah, a bit of opportunity for drinks break. I mean, what a 17 minutes we've had. I mean, we've got 24 points scored within 20 minutes. It's been absolute madness here. I'm tired just watching them. I think we're actually having a TMO check here. I'm not entirely sure for what. So we could have potential foul play here. Not sure if it's a South African or Argentinian player here. Looking at this tackle from Kirkley Lawrence, I think it's alright. I don't think he's hit head contact there from that angle at least. So we're having a look. And you can see he has to come across back inside of this Mr. Carreras. Kurt Lawrence is pretty low down. Oh dear, yeah, there is a shoulder to the head. I think it could be shoulder to I don't know if it's going to be chest first. Yeah, I see. We need to slow down that angle. Right, could be trouble city here for Kurt Lawrence. It is going to be a yellow card for Kurt Lawrenson. And there's going to be a bunker check as well. So we have to wait and find out exactly what. So worrying wait now for Kurt Lawrenson. The level change is the issue there. So South Africa now down to 14 men. There's going to be a check on him. So we'll have to wait and find out. We'll know that by about 23 minutes. We'll know what the final decision is there. Right, so after all that brilliant start, Argentina hit back, and now South Africa down to 14 men, and it looks like they're going to take the points here, make it a 7-point game. This is what I said earlier. I said, when they score the try, I said we cannot switch off because they'll punish us. They're a good side. They're a really, really good side. And the side that they're a bit of a never say die side as well. So they're not gonna just take it lying down. Lots of time you have Thomas Albanese. An interesting decision, Teams have often, Argentina have often come under scrutiny for that Santiago Carreras experiment where he played a lot of his rugby at fullback and some of his rugby on wing. He's missed as Thomas Albanese and then was kind of converted into a fly half. And it's had some really, really good games of fly half as Carreras, but also there's some times, where like a Nicolas Sanchez has come on and really showed you what an out-and-out genuine, fly half can do. So it's an interesting situation. So they've gone with Thomas Albanese. And Pollard's restart is allowed to bounce. And Albanese goes to the boot. They're not his best kick. It's right up against the touchline. That'll be out in the full. That's a dreadful kick, actually, from Thomas Albanese. That's a bit of a double mistake that from Thomas Albanese. He's missed the kick. Now he's put it into touch. He's allowed all the momentum that Argentina were getting to switch. And they compete at the line-up though, and that ball's gone forward, I think. Forward from South Africa. A bit of a sloppy line-up there from Ruan Nokia. Good contest in the air coming from Argentina. We have another scrum. It's our second scrum of the game in the 20th minute. We won a penalty. I'm trying to work out if that was I think that could have been confirmation that it's going to be a yellow card from Kurt Lawrenson. Yeah, it is confirmed. It'll remain a yellow card, so no red card to worry about here. Research it. And I think that, I think it's an area will really dominate. I don't see how they're going to compete with our front row. I really don't. It's saying if Pumas can use their speed and also find space, they could win against us through a great team. Oh, a great team. And this is why we have to keep going back to the basics and keep the pressure on. It has a great start, but you can't switch off because it's a good side. Much better scrum that as well. Matthew Carreras is first receiver. He goes to Albanese. Albanese looking for options. Goes to Stinty. Stinty gets away from Jesu Creel. He's eventually brought down by Lukanya and Maximum Pimpy. Creel now returns to add his weight. Albanese looking for options. And he finds Slavi. Albanese looking now. Chukabaris. And he's showing go there from Malia. Now Carreras now by the spin space with the overlap as well. And they're going to go over once again. Well, there's the overlap from the Kurt Lawrenson yellow card. They've exploited it brilliantly. And Pablo Matera is over. And Argentina go back-to-back tries. Within 5 now. With a kick to come. And jeepers me, is that a warning? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What were we saying? Yeah, and it's literally it's clearly on side, so that's where the extra man is. So it's kind of inevitable, isn't it? Could be in for a very high scoring game, yeah, I reckon. Well, he missed the penalty earlier, did Thomas Arnold, but he's nailed the conversion. And it's now a 3-point game. We saw Australia almost come back to beat New Zealand today in epic fashion. So, rather not see us go 14-0 up and then sacrifice the lead. But it's a 3-point game after 22.5 minutes. And after dominating all the possession in the first 15, we've also not touched the ball for about 7 minutes as well. Pollard goes on the left-hand side with that restart, and Chukabara is underneath it. Runs it to Oxen, Shea, and Ruan Okia. And all the way back to Albanose. And it does find touch. BITDEFENDER there thinks about it, but decides against it. So it'll be a South African line just inside Argentina half, by the halfway line. Opportunity now to get a some forward momentum and kind of go back to basics here. Ball show over the top to Maximum Pimpy. He goes to Pollard. So interesting line there from the box. Now Reinach turns around and goes for that overhead kick when nobody was really chasing. Bit of a strange one, almost like Malcolm Verstappen started and then stopped. So it's kind of like a free turnover ball. Hammered back, and Pollard with a bit of technique. Nice little first touch on Pollard. He goes to the boot. Upper left Fassi will give chase here. It's well weighted from Pollard, and Fassi's going to get there, but it's well taken from John Cruz Malia. And Berthino goes to Albanose. He's a bit of space when he goes to that left boot. Having to go across as Pollard, but there's a big gap over there. Thankfully for him, it will stay in. Trying to bring out that banana kick, and he's not found a particularly large amount of distance there, so it'll be a line for Argentina just past the box 10-meter line. Attacking line out for them. Now, much better line this from Argentina. They're really going into the game now. And having to shift across here. Ball in behind, and I believe Fast is going back. I tell you what, he's just won. In fact, he might. Has he won the line? I thought he had won the race initially, but I think he's played the ball on the ground. There is a penalty for Argentina. They're all over us. All over us at the moment. And the box at the moment, just no solution for this Argentinian pressure. Still 2 minutes left on the Kirkley orange yellow card. And they do pop into touch. Argentina, they're looking for the full Monty here. Not taking the points. They didn't miss the points. In fact, if he had gotten it, it would have been 17-all. And this is the thing with Argentina. We saw the same thing with Australia. Australia actually went ahead of them. And since then, after that, they just completely dominated. So it's not unusual to see this Argentina side sort of kick into gear a little bit late. Montoya with ball in hand. He goes to the front of the line. A good line there. Look if they're any more. They've actually changed the point of contact. Ball goes back to Joel Slavia. And Oxford Pimpy's over there. And he can't stop him from point blank range. Joel Slavia's gone over. And Argentina on the lead. Absolute disaster. We were 14-0 up almost 18 minutes ago. We are now 19 points to 17 points down with a kick to come. Chaps, this was not how things were supposed to go. At all. We might have a look here to see if there's potentially might be have the try chalked off. It's amazing how yellow card just swings all the momentum. Not sure what we're looking at here. Let's have a look over here at this rolling more, I think. About whether he was in touch. Yeah, he's in touch. Never mind, don't stress. I'm gonna change the score right now. He's in touch. We do survive. We survive. Clearly in touch as far as I'm concerned. I think he's in touch. What do you mean it's touch? It looks well in touch for me. Unless I'm looking at the wrong foot. I might yet have to change that score back. Yeah, actually, maybe I might be looking at the wrong boot, to be fair. Where's his foot? There, it's out. No, so it's still in. Still in. I actually think he's done it. I think this could be 90. I'm going to change it back to 90. My call, I think he's actually managed to offload it perfectly. I think it's actually really well done. Unfortunately. Yeah, I think he's done brilliantly there. I think it's Oviedo who's done it. The awareness here is so good. Sees a touchline, frees his hands, just tosses it backwards. And Joel Slavia as well understands the situation, stops, takes it, almost a bit of a fumble, second grab. Yeah, Marcus Pimpy's the only one in front of him. Yeah, try has been awarded. Oh dear. No, I'll tell you what. I mean, I think after the first 10 minutes, as I said, yellow card could do so much in the game, and that's exactly what we've just seen. Well, I said it could be a high-scoring game, and as nicely he's pushed that to the left. So 2-point game here. Well, we're almost at 40 points, and we're not even at half an hour mark. So this is going to be a proper high-scoring game. It's well done. It's really well done to get that that ball back inside. I don't know how he actually managed, to be honest. It was good work. Deep restart here. We got to try and find a better way back in the game. Yeah, Kurt Janss's yellow card will be up after this play, so at least that'll help. We'll get back to a full contingent. You get hands on the ball though. Both teams, when they've had hands on the ball, have been very dangerous. But the possession stats after the first 50 minutes were about 90-10, and since then it's probably been about 90-10 Argentina. Kick and chase here from Fussy. And he almost regathers. Then it's knocked on initially, I think it was from Argentina. Will be a scrum for South Africa right by the front of the poles on the 22. So penalty here, take the points, get back in the lead would probably be my ideal situation. John's saying we need to try and tire out Argies, but not ourselves like we did to French in the quarterfinal. Let them run themselves tired. Frank's saying, mate, only 27 gone, heaps of time left, heaps of time. Well, the problem is at the moment, it's kind of looking like it's heaps of time for Argentina more than us. I mean, I don't think anyone's panicking just yet, but I'll tell you what, how to throw away a really good start. Big scrum needed chair. It's gone down, was available for Kubasranak. I think we lost the ball forward there. We have lost the ball forward there. Really nice opportunity to get some momentum, and we've made a big mistake there. That's very, very annoying. So you can see the possession will be a scrum for Argentina. Not what you want to see early on. But we can get that yellow card off, which is the good thing. So no more yellow card for us. We're back to a full contingent on the half-hour mark. Kurt Janssen back on the park. Needs to make amends for that yellow card because things changed a lot when he went off. Right, to the right-hand side. Launch downfield. Makazola Pimpy goes to Apelefasi. Apelefasi's going to kick and chase. Oh, it's gone straight through the man and knocked backwards as the call. Apelefasi hammered him in the process. Now the clearance goes into the hands of Kurt Lawrence. I don't know if we're going back to a penalty. I think we're going back to a penalty. Yeah, Apelefasi's absolutely smashed the man. Yeah, he just saw Albanese going up there. The ball went straight through Albanese's hands, and Apelefasi, he put his hands down and then only realized that he hadn't caught the ball, and he smashed into him. Jeepers me. Guys, I don't know what you want me to update the score to. He missed the kick. I told you he missed the kick. It is 19 points to 17. That is the score. It has been the score for the last... I'm not going to lie to you. Let me tell you exactly. For the last 5 minutes. So I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, there's a little mascot on there. There's a puma running around. Not a particularly good-looking mascot, I must admit. Poor lad. Right, Montoya. The RG trying to progress up the field. A bit of a messy line. Humberto has to almost sort of netball past it. But forced Sugar Boris. Brought down by Kanya Ben Jason Dixon lurking. That's for Visa. Half tackle coming from Oxen Chair. Slows it down enough to the ball back inside. A couple of too many missed tackles here at the moment, to be honest. Like that from Jasper Visa. And penalty for not rolling. And I think that's Ben Jason Dixon who just found himself swamped. Yeah, it is. I mean, just makes a good tackle. And then he's just got 4 or 5 Argentinians just lying on top of him. Not rolling around from there. From the sublime to the ridiculous, to be honest, from the box. First 50 minutes we were untouchable. The next 50 minutes, we've been poor. Very, very poor. Sia saying, so many areas, we're killing ourselves. And he says, why don't KR04 says, boxing to make some substitutes. Oscar says, let's go Pumas. We don't even have professional league in Argentina. Which, like, blows my mind, by the way. Right, line on the 5-meter line on the right-hand side. Yeah, Julian Montoya with ball in hand. And they go to the back of the line. That's good take. Penalty advantage for Argentina. Pick up and go from Joel Slavi. The try score. He's already scored 1. He's almost over. Just short here. Pick up and go. Thomas Latoy is there. Thomas Gajo is pushed back. Good defenses from the box. Pick up and go! Jeepers me. Great stuff that from Cobus Reineke and Marco van Staden. Ball still available as Julian Montoya goes digging. Right on the line. Pop it up to just short. Once again, good tackle this time for Jasper Visa. Penalty advantage for Argentina. And another advantage, but we're going to go for the penalty. Marco van Staden off his feet as the call from the referee. Or was it against Thomas Latoya, actually could be. So another penalty. All the pressure on the box. They're probably going to go for the line once again. Could take the 3 points. I think I'd probably take the 3 points. I'd be tempted if I was Argentina. Take the 3. They're about 22 meters in. It's a 2-point lead. Make it a 5-point lead and to go back to the halfway line. Now on the right-hand side, the tap and go. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Makazola's been dusted by Thomas Albanese. And they're over again. They're over again. Well, who would have thought after the start we had that at the rate things are going, Mbombela could yet be a mini final of the Rugby Championship because Argentina have just scored 4 unanswered tries. 4 unanswered tries. When was the last time we conceded 4 tries, let alone 4 unanswered tries? This is pretty ridiculous. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. $24 points to 17. As I said, the Argentina side good, eh? We've been bad, but you can't take it away. They've really turned it on after those early stages. And that makes 6 tries in total, by the way, in the first half. A total of 43 points in 35 minutes. It's insane. This has been ludicrous when you think of how close. I mean, we was at the Currie Cup final, which was 14 points to 16 in the end. And yeah, now we've got 26 points, 17 in the first half. Good pressure though from the kickoff. And we have managed to win ourselves a line inside the 22. Have to hit back before the halftime whistle. If we don't, then we could be in big trouble. And it's a horrible throw from Malcolm Moss to get the line completely wrong. Goes over the head of Solomon Murat, and Argentina won the ball back. This halftime talk is not going to be a fun one. Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall there. Penalty advantage for the Boks, though, at the breakdown. Kobus Reinach goes to Malcolm Marx. Malcolm Marx puts his head down. Pops it up to Reinach. The Kanya goes to Pollard. Long pass out to Kurt Janssen with a bit of space. Kurt Janssen into the 22. He goes on the right-hand side. Pick up and go from the Kanya down the left. Just short of the advantage line. And Solomon Murat, almost a bit of a fumble there. Does manage to hold on to it. Ball available for Ben J. Dixon. Leaves it for Kobus Reinach. He goes to Malcolm Marx. He bashes it up. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Reinach looking for options. Stabs the head into the boot and will go back for the penalty. Big decision here at penalty time. It is right in front of the poles, so we could take the 3. And after the pressure even under, wouldn't be the worst thing, to be honest. We'll make 26 points to 20. Means a converted try, we take the lead. Still plenty of time. Do you want to go to the corner, for example? But it's not a particularly happy-looking coaching box. Jeepers me, who's not in this coaching box? We do go for the line, by the way. Big call that from the on-field captain. So Solomon Murat, probably the call came from Rasmus, to be fair. But we do go to the line. Looking for the try. Much better line. Jasper Visa goes up of all people. Not usually a line option as Jasper Visa. And penalty advantage for the Boks. And we'll hopefully be able to set up another line out. But Kobus Reinach wants to take it quickly. And Kobus Reinach is going to go into the corner. Well, he's got so much pace. And he's just shown it there. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Great awareness there from Kobus Reinach. He's got so much pace. We all know about the pace. That, you know, it's in the heritage of his family. You know, as far as 400-meter champion and tap and go for Kobus Reinach. Bang, bang, bang. And then just rounds a couple of forwards. Dives over in the corner. And hits back. And all of a sudden, the Boks suddenly get a bit more of momentum. 26 points to 22. I'm gonna hit the 50-point mark. If Andre Pollard nails this, we'll be at 50 points in the first half. absolute scenes over in Argentina. And looking pretty good from Pollard, and just doesn't slide to the right-hand side. So it'll remain 26 points to 22 as the clock does turn red. So all we have to do is receive the kick-off. We'll probably just pop it over into the corner and say thank you very much. We'll try to go in the second half. Because, jeepers me, what a half this has been. I'm exhausted just watching it. It's not the fact that it's midnight down in South Africa. It's just been a hectic first half. Jasper V will take us into contact. And I'm sure Kubas Rang will say, thank you very much. We'll take half time. Yeah, he does do that. Right, people. So half time, Argentina 26, South Africa 22. We raced to a 14-point lead within 8 minutes. Then to a 17-0 lead after 12 minutes. After that, though, it was all Argentina. And but for Kubas Rang right towards the end, it could have been a bit of a nasty halftime chat. I think the halftime chat will still be pretty nasty. But it is only a 4-point game, which is the good news. So people will be back in just a second. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. On the road to 80,000 subscribers. We're getting nice and close. So if you are new, please make sure you subscribe. And we will see you guys just in a bit. Lovely and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And goodness me, have we not almost witnessed the upset of the year and what could have been an all-time great test match. Australia coming within 3 points of beating New Zealand and getting a chance at the Bledisloe Cup. Having to... well, a bit of a controversial call right at the end. Almost the difference considering the fact that Australia had a one-man advantage and were on the front foot, had a penalty shout turned down in the final minute before having a scrum, which New Zealand then kicked it out, with the final score ending 31 points to 28. And what a comeback it was from Australia, who were down 14 points to nil within the first 10 minutes. It was a horrendous start from the home side, but they managed to sort of start getting into it. And once again, New Zealand not scoring any points in the final quarter. I think that's 5 games in a row they've not managed it. 28 points to 31. They scored just 3 points in the second half. And I think if you're a New Zealand fan, lots to be worried about with regards to that bench and just there being no impact. You know, it's like this case of can they like, you know, can they basically get it far enough ahead where it's impossible to catch? Because if not, then it's not enough. It really isn't enough. And I think until they solve that problem, a lot of teams are going to back themselves and fancy themselves against Australia. This is against New Zealand. This is an Australian side who have just been hammered, a record defeat at the hands of Argentina in the last few weeks. And now they've just pitched up. They've gone behind, well behind as well. It really was, you know, not good. I mean, you look at the timing over here, and they conceded 14 points. Let me not lie to you. They were 21 points to nil at 15 minutes. You know, and at 21 points to nil, you think that's the game done. And at one point, at 28 points to 7. At 25 minutes. And from Australia point of view, you sitting at 28 points to 7 down, 21 points behind, thinking, well, how do we get back into this? Well, they scored more points in the second half. Well, more than points, you know. The 2 tries to just the penalty from New Zealand. New Zealand pressure conceded 2 yellow cards. And Joe Schmidt, he's talking to Rob Banatini and Andrew Kellaway as I'm watching here. Almost a bit of a wry smile on his face. Because I think he's sitting there thinking, this team can be beaten, this New Zealand side. And obviously next week they'll go to New Zealand and life will get a lot more difficult. But I think there's a couple of smiles around this Australian camp, because I think that they've just realized today that they can compete. And this is why it's been a bit of a weird year for Australia rugby, because they beaten a poor Welsh side. They then beat Argentina in Argentina, but then got hammered. And they were 21 points down within 50 minutes against New Zealand and lost by just 3 points, where they had the momentum towards the end. So I don't think that they'll actually be as upset as you know, maybe they should be or could be, because they will have seen that they can be competitive. And I mean, look, what a day as well for James Slipper. It's so horrible that he did go off injured, but he became the most capped Wallaby of all time today. And what a way it would have been. I mean, had they gotten over the line and they had the momentum, then it could have been one of the most historic wins, you know, from a significance of the game in terms of James Slipper's, you know, most cap time to beat New Zealand, Australian side that's struggling, you know, to give them a chance of winning the Bledisloe Cup, for example. It could have been epic. It was epic, to be fair. It was absolutely epic regardless. And I think in many ways, Australia will probably be the happier of the sides, because they will look at that and say, listen, this is a New Zealand side who is considered the second or third best team in the world, was in the World Cup final last year. We're a growing side, and yet we've gone toe-to-toe with them and could have actually got the job done. Scott Robertson, I don't think the pressure is going anywhere, because there's been a lot of talks about his selection, about the bench not being good enough, and about not being able to finish off games. And that has not been put to bed today. That's the thing. More questions have come than answers from New Zealand side. Now, if you look at some of the stats, for example, in Australia's set piece, the scrums weren't probably good enough. You know, 75%, New Zealand 71%, but scrum penalties far more for New Zealand. The lineouts as well from Australia not good enough. 75%. You've got to have a functional set piece. That's a massive area they've got to work on. I mean, they had a great try from Fraser McWright off the back of a lineout, but in general, the set piece just didn't quite function. Similarly, possession, they had 80% in the last 10 minutes, but they had basically didn't touch the ball for the first 20. Apart from that, discipline, I think, from Australia in the first half was pretty poor, but then discipline in the second half from New Zealand was also poor. So that's an interesting side of it. So stats-wise, there's not actually a lot that separates the two teams. In terms of some big performances, Harry Wilson leading from the front, carried quite strongly. I just feel that they're missing a couple of enforcers, Australia. They need a couple of players to get on the front foot and try and dominate. Because I think, if you dominate up front, you can slow down the New Zealand attack. And that was the issue in the first half. They had no ways of slowing down a New Zealand attack that was relentless, that was just hammering away at the Wallabies over and over again. And they just didn't have anything to try and... Right, and we are back for the second half. And what a first half it was. 26 points, 22 is the score to Argentina. And the Springboks were sent out early from the change rooms, if that says anything about the kind of conversation that must have happened between Rassie Erasmus and this side, who raced to 17-0 and have since conceded lots and lots of points, and were it not for a late Kuzma try, would still be in a lot of trouble. But they've started off pretty well here in the first half. A nice little run there from Apple Fast. Now Jasper Wiese, just outside the 22, Thomas Latoy takes it in. Battling hard and about halfway between in the field there. Just outside the 22, inside the 22 goes Mark of a Staden, quick ball from Reinach. Looking for options, goes to Oxen Chair, steps away from one, has another go. Early tries, really what the conversation would have been, is to get out there and start well, get back on top, and try and keep it in possession for his arm. Let's get back in the game, really. I think will probably be a big thing about this. It's just to Kurt Lawrence, and now goes to Jesse Creel on the left-hand side. Yeah, we've just really been a bit nowhere in the last... that yellow card has completely wrecked our game. So I need to get back into things, yeah. Now short, nice carry there from Jasper Wiese. Goes around looking for options, goes to Oxen Chair with a bit of a gap. Oxen Chair still going hard. Driving down the right-hand side. Goes around looking for options, pops up to Andre Pollard, who's picked up and put down. And dumped backwards a few times. Kobus Reinhardt now looking for options, and he goes to Oxen Chair. Tom Murat pops it up to Ben Jason Dixon. Right, looking for options, goes short to Mark of a Staden. It's not seeing much creativity. You're kind of just going left and right. I didn't see too much of a plan. Now Pollard goes to Abdullah Fassi with a bit of injection of pace. 10 meters short now at the box. Right, not looking for options. Decides to go to the left-hand side. Thomas Latoy this time. Penalty advantage for the box. Reroll the dice. This is now Murat. Pollard goes short, and it's not a great pass to Lukanya and we'll go back for the penalty. Just a bit aimless there, I mean, left to right, right to left, and not much of a plan. Who's willing to step up, for example? Who's going to take on the responsibility? Who's the one that's desperate to get his hands on the ball and try and get us over the advantage line? In terms of players we can bring off the bench, and this is obviously where it becomes a big thing, is you've got a pretty good bomb squad. You've got Jan-Hendrik Westphal in the hooker. He'll only come out about 60 minutes, I reckon. Kairos Dinnekamp, Vincent Koch, the other two in the front row there. You've got Eben Etzebeth, Albert Lowe, Quagga Smith, Jane Enster, Marnie Liebach. I mean, it's a proper bomb squad. I'll tell you what, I'll be tempted to put on Marnie Liebach, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I take the points here, so early pressure, take early points, give ourselves within 1 point. But yeah, I'd be seriously tempted to put on Marnie Liebach. It's just, for me, the kind of game that's crying out for. It's open. It's high-paced. And I think he could really carve a hole in this Argentinian defense. Eben Etzebeth looks like he is being readied. Or is he just going to go sit down? No, just going to go sit down. Right, 26 points to 25. It's down to a 1 point game as we hit the 50 mark for the match. And that's a terrible, terrible kicker from Thomas Albanor. Big mistake. He's kicked the last on the full. We'll go back for a scrum on the halfway line. Big opportunity now this for the Boks. Penalty time, get down there to the other side. In fact, you can even take the points in the halfway line if Andre Pollard were to really thump it. Right, come on, lads. 4 tries to 3 now is where it currently stands. Right, on the halfway line, Coulson with ball in hand. And we're going to have a reset there. The scrum going down quite quickly. Justin saying, did you see we went into a big bump up in the Currie Cup? Yeah, I was there. And I tell you what, you could almost hear it. You could feel it almost. And the entire crowd almost kind of just winced when it happened. It was a massive, massive hit coming from Rowan Venter. I don't know who hurt him once upon a time in his life, but goodness me, when he runs into contact, he's just an absolute machine. It's ludicrous, actually, how good he is in contact. Now, a free kick here for the Boks, and remember, we can't opt for a scrum, so Pollard with the ball in hand will probably tap this and launch this in the air. Pollard, as he does, lifts us in the air. Kurt Janssen will give chase. And he gets there first. Kurt Janssen comes backwards off, but into the hands of Thomas Albanors. Brought down by Thomas the Toy. And Malcolm Marks is there lurking, loses his footing though. Berthenot goes back to Malia in the pocket there. Deep kick in from him. Underneath it is Pollard, lifts it for Apple Fast to give chase. Not gone particularly far. We'll give Fast an opportunity to get up there. Ball goes backwards with the Argentina player. And Ben Jason Dixon with a good take there and managed to win the ball. Right up now to Fassi. Fassi stabs on the boot. That's a great take. Done very, very well there has Batista Dalga. Now ball over the top, and Pondre Pollard's going to have to get across here. He used to get on his bicycle a little bit. Lacanya Am's got on the inside to give him an option. A bit of a fumble almost there from Pollard. Getting away from one though. Runs into Pablo Matera. Under a bit of pressure with Pollard. Enough players are back to a scramble. Ben Jason Dixon comes away with it. He runs into Marcus Kramer's opposite number. Pops out to Malcolm Marks in the contact. Malcolm Marks throws Thomas Gajwa to the ground. And a stop just shy of the 22. We've got the safety of the 22. Kubas Ryan wants to go to touch. Which I think is exactly what he's going to try and do. And he will find touch, will Kubas Ryan. Looks like some movement on the Argentinian bench. And I think we're going to see Gonzalo Garcia coming on here for Gonzalo Bertano. It doesn't look like we've got too much movement on the South African bench just yet. It was actually Malio looking at that. He slipped as Abdel Fassi put that grubber in and then managed to take up his hands. Well, there is a lot of movement on the South African bench. And we've done it. We've put on Mani Liba from the looks of it. I think pretty sure that's Andre Pollard who just gave way. So Ibn Etzebeth onto the park, by the way, as well as Vincent Koch and Ulrich Lowe. And Mani Liba, the general, is on. Well, the new general, I mean, Ice Cold Pollard is often called the general. Mani Liba, the way he marshals the defense is so good. Bit of a sloppy lineup that from Argentina. Ball eventually available. So some big calls being made by Rassi Erasmus pretty early in the second half. He's gone to his big man Ibn Etzebeth, by the way, who's now equaled the record of Victor Matfield. He's now currently tied with him as the most capped Springbok of all time. As the ball, I think, comes backwards of Argentina. I think will be a South African lineout after that kick. It will, in fact, be a South African lineout. So Thomas Latoya's game is over, as is Andre Pollard's, as is, I think it was Samurachu went off there. Not his best game either. Unfortunately for him, he really needed a strong game to try and get a lot of the critics off his back. But I don't think that show is going to do a lot for that. But I'm really glad we've gone to Mani Liba. I think this game is just made for him. And Albert Lowe on for Malcolm and Starden, I think it was. Cheap is not the best pass there. It's a great take, I think, by Ibn Etzebeth on the run there. Was it Jasper Wiese who's gone on? No, Jasper Wiese is still on. Ben Jason Dixon floating around. Marcus on Pimpies there. Good kick there for Mani Liba. Well weighted. Big counter ruck coming from the box, and Vincent Koch goes over there, and he's just played off the ball. Penalty. I need to try and work out what's going on here. I need to work out who's come on. We didn't see names come up here, so I need to go and see who's on and who's off here. I mean, it looked like Marco van Staden was off, but that doesn't really make sense to me because Ben Jason Dixon is the natural replacement. If Albert Louw's not replacing Best of East at the back of the scrum, he's going to be replacing Ben Jason Dixon, you'd think. Good tackle from Mapimpi, and then a big counter coming in. I think it's Lacanya. JC Creel was in there. Not entirely sure who the third party was. Albert Lowe seemed to have been involved there. Kobus Ranek was up there. Now, we are taking the points here. Bonnie Eagles have his first kick of the match. I assume Marco Verstappen is still on. It would be a very strange loose trio if he weren't. So Etibe's replaced Salman Murat. Thomas Toy's gone off. Marco van Staden. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Marco van Staden on the left-hand side. Unless Parker Smith come on. Yeah, good kick from Mine Liebach. Great kick from Mine Liebach. And South Africa are back in the lead. Onto the park. Nice up and under there. And Sia Khaleesi, by the way, interesting, has gone down to the bench. He was in the coach's box in the first half. And he has now gone down to the bench. Right, 28 points to 26. Nice start to the half for the Boks. Now he try and build on that momentum. That's a good take from Muranok here. And he's got a bit of space in front of him. There's Quacker Smith, by the way, that's on. So Quacker Smith's also on the park, so he replaced Marco Verstappen. So Ben Jason Dixon and Marco Verstappen off, as well as Salman Murat. And Quacker Smith, Evan Etzebeth, Albert Lowe on, as is Vincent Koch. Still Oxen Chair, Malcolm Marks. Those will be the last two that will be substituted in the pack. But I don't think we'll see Jan Hendrik Vessels just too soon. And they bought that penalty really off Jasper Wiese, who got pinged for not rolling. And that'll be a penalty back on the halfway line. Referee does blow his whistle. And they'll go down to the right-hand side there. It's been a weird game. A very, very weird game. Right, so I put a poll up, which you can still vote on, saying, will South Africa come back to win in the second half? So far, so good. We've scored 6 points and we do lead by 2. However, they are going to take the 3 here, or Argentina, or attempts to take the 3. So this is them to retake the lead. That's for Wiese, who's been pinged Jeff for not rolling. Alright, here we go. Well, distance should be fine. Has he got the direction? He does not. He goes down the right-hand side. So South Africa will maintain the lead. Not the best kick there from Thomas Albanose. Almost looked like he was a bit rushed. Right, so Mine Liebach with ball in hand. The only players remaining on the bench is Jaden Hendrickse, Gerard Stennekamp, and Jan Hendrik Wessels. Great restart, and then falls back to Oxen. She's got a bit of space into the Argentina half we go on the right-hand side. Comes around, long pass out to Mine Liebach. He fires it out towards, I think it's Quacker Smith in the midfield there. Inside, outside, eventually brought down to ground. Right, goes to Malcolm Marks. Malcolm Marks almost breaking through towards the 10-meter line now. Liebach delays and goes to Lacanya God, what a great pass from him. Makazoma Pimpy on the outside. Round to Etzebeth. Etzebeth trying to jump over the tackle almost. Ranak now. Goes short to Jasper Wiese. Still on the left-hand side. Mine Liebach looking at options. Goes to Apple Fassi. Fassi goes flat to Kwaka Smith. He bounces off one. Deceptively strong in the carry is Kwaka Smith. Now 2 players again and drive him slightly back. Ball still available to Kuz right, but a space on the left-hand side. He goes on a snipe by himself, slightly isolated. Ball's popped down. Apele Fassi was aware to the threat, but it's been turned over on the ground by Jean Cruz Murray. Now Garcia will put the ball in behind, but Liebach has gone back and positioned himself very well. Throws a long pass out to Kurt Janssen. Now, a bit of space for Kirtley. What does he want to do? Looking to run as Kirtley. Makes a good tackle there. Looks at Thomas Albanose. Well, I think he might have a bit of a stinger on his shoulder from it. Ruan Nokia now in at scrum half. Pops it up to Oxen Chair. It's been quite a long period of play, this. As we approach the 55 minutes. Reinach now goes to Liebach in the box. And he goes high into the air. And Malia underneath it. So it's Albanose rather. Solid chase, but Argentina do well. Actually win a penalty for a push. And that's against Lekanya. Right, so going to the bench here, Argentina. Interesting to see how that kind of, what kind of effect that might have. So we've already seen Gonzalo Garcia and Santiago Carreras come onto the park. Batista Dalgi, by the way, is the man that's gone off. So I don't know if Carreras has now gone to the wing or if he's going to operate at 10. Big hit this from Kurt Janssen. Bang, sat down Garcia. And Lekanya was just pushing the man out the way as he was trying to get to his Malia was pushed. Right, there goes Pablo Matera for Jean Martin Gonzalez, one of my favorite players in World Rugby at the moment, Jean Martin Gonzalez. Big fan of him. Right, so please do keep voting on the poll. Also, if you are new to the stream, please make sure you subscribe. We're very, very close to getting 79,000 actually. We're trying to get to 80,000 subscribers by the end of the Rugby Championship. So if you are new, make sure you subscribe. And if you are haven't already, please do like the video as well. We're sitting on 441 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 500 by the end of the 60-minute mark. Given that there's only 2,000 people watching, we should be able to do that. So... Julio Montoya now just outside the 22 on the right-hand side, ball in hand. Looks like a 5-man line out. And a 6 in the end. Now, big tackle from Lekanya on Chukabara. It's good work that. And Liba comes up quickly. Good take there. Good carry really on from Jean Martin Gonzalez. Now a bit of a switch in play here from Argentina as Albanor sees a bit of space. Kwaka Smith trying to make a boost of himself at the breakdown, but gets removed quite quickly. Now Joel Slavy goes nice and direct. Marcus Kramer, a little chip over the top from Santiago Carrera straight over the top. And I think there was a knock-on from Argentina. We're going to go back for the scrum. First scrum with Vincent Koch. Wonder if we might even see Gerard Stennekamp come on very shortly. Little scrum penalty would do nicely here. Get ourselves into Argentina half. Try and score a try. First try of the half. Right, come on, lads. Big scrum, yeah. And about 10 minutes, I'll probably put the play right out. There it is, the big scrum. Penalty advantage. Jaden Henson onto the park as well, by the way. But Liebach's got a bit of space, and he wants to work with it. Lekanya holds onto the ball. Gives it back inside, but I think we lost it before. Go back for the penalty on the halfway line. And that's exactly what I want to see. Now my Liebach can kick towards the corner. Set up a line. And try time, boys. Try time, try time, try time. That's what we need in our lives. Right, so Jane Henson on, which means that there's only 2 players left on the bench for South Africa. That is Gerard Steenekamp and Jan Hendrik Wessels. I imagine Malcolm Marx will play maybe 60, 65 minutes, and then we'll see Jan Hendrik. Gerard Steenekamp I expect to see pretty soon. I'm actually quite surprised he's not on already. And a bit of a sloppy line. We've lost it. So Albanese will fire this back in behind, and Napoli Fast going to have to go back and fetch it from all the way back by our try line. It's a huge kick coming from Albanese. And Svasi will find touch. Very frustrating to be inside their half, lose the line, and I'll be all of a sudden back inside our own half and defending the line out. Lineouts have been an issue with us in the Rugby Championship. Every now and again, we've gotten them really right. We've had a couple of cool moves at the back, but generally not been very accurate of our lineouts. So Archie line halfway to the 10 and the 22. Eminem Smith goes up to try and make himself a bit of a nuisance, and Garcia makes a big mistake there. Does the replacement scrum off. He knocks it forward. It'll be another scrum, and after what we've just seen, should be another penalty. Right, there goes Thomas Gajul. So Ignatius Callis is on. And Joel Slavi also for Pedro Delgado. So 2 new props on for Argentina. Will that sort out the issues? Or can Vincent Cock and Oxen Chair yet still get the better of them? Luke says, that looks like at halftime the Boks were like, that's enough of that fancy looking stuff. We're going old school, strangle, bully, and forced penalties. Yeah, look, I mean, if it works, it works. There's the second shove now. And there it is. There it is. There's the penalty advantage while Jaden Henson uses it quickly. Goes to the Kanya Ahmed first receiver. He fires out to Mani Liebok. Liebok's got a lot of pace on him. Goes to Fassi. Fassi chips in behind. It comes off the man. Oh, Makadwa Pippi's taking it brilliantly. Trying to put it onto the boot. Hasn't quite managed to do it. And then he's knocked it on, by the way. There was actually penalty advantage, says the referee. And they've managed to throw him out. But it's come off the boot of Hendricks. It'll be an Argentina line. In share, the referee did call penalty advantage over. We are by the 22s. I don't really mind it as long as it's consistent. I've always said that these days there's like the fact, I mean, you almost have to score a try basically. You go end to end score a try before penalty advantage is called over. Rod Wolf saying, I agree. Our lineouts have gone a bit haywire. We need to fix it. Yeah, it's been an interesting one. That I don't know what's changed really. I know that there are obviously a couple new line jumpers and Ronald Care, for example, but I don't know if we're trying to be more complicated or if we're trying to change. I'm not sure what Dion Davis has got cooking up, but things have become a little bit less reliant. Good line that from Argentina. They've got a very good line out in general. Like deep kick, and Maximum Pimpy picks it up on the halfway line. He will not kick this, he will run this. He always does. And he bursts straight through to my Pimpy. Up to the 10-meter line. In Henson, quick ball. Goes to Jasper Visa, sees a bit of space. Growing into this game is Jasper Visa. Sloppy first half, much better second half. Maliba looks at his options. Goes to Cody Arnser from Appelé Fassi. Good tackle on Arnser. He's being driven towards the touchline. Eventually manages to get himself down. Right up against the right touchline. Hendrickson is going to fire us back inside to Oxen Chair. He's putting in a big shift, over an hour in the loose head props legs. Henderson now goes to Liebok. And we're running towards an injured player, and we'll have to stop play and resume with a scrum after this. 62 minutes, just 2 points in the game, by the way. As much as we felt we've been in charge of this second half, we've still got only 2 points. So, late penalty, for example, this could slip away. So a try, or at least another penalty or something would be useful. Right, so most of the benches haven't been used. If we look at Argentina, Ignacio Ruiz and Matheus Moroni, the only players who haven't come on for a South African perspective. It's just Jan Hendrik Wessels and Gerard Steenekamp. So 6 changes for each team. both hookers, original hookers still on. I mean, why would they still be on? If you look at, you've got a Malcolm Marks and a Julian Montoya. I mean, some of the top hookers in the world between those two. I don't think anyone's going to be in too much of a rush to replace either of them. So break and play. A couple of Argentina players got down, and it's not looking good. Marcus Kramer's getting a lot of treatment there. I don't know if that's going to be able to continue. If he's going to be strapped up here, whether he's going to be carried off here. I don't think he can continue. I think he's in a lot of pain here. Is Marcus Kramer? What a player he is. The back row talent in Argentina is ridiculous. I mean, you've got your Pablo Materas, Marcus Kramers, but then you've got your Aviados is young. You've got John Martin Gonzalez is young, and speaking of youngsters, Pedro Delgado, the Argentinian tight head rather, is on debut. What a moment it is for the youngster. So cool. I think he's about 25 years old. So maybe not as young as some people when they make their debuts. But there goes Marcus Kramer being helped off the pitch by a couple of the medics. Not a good sight for Felipe Contaponi, one of his most important players. And here comes Ignacio Ruiz on for Marcus Kramer because they've lost their round of forwards here. So Ruiz will probably, I'd imagine, go to the flank here now. What do we update score? Score's updated. Are you guys watching like half an hour ago? We haven't had an update in score in like 20 minutes. Right, now we're on the restart with the scrum here on the left-hand side. It will be a South African put in, and still no Gerard Steenekamp. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him. Such a good scrummager. Don Human's big project for the year. Right, so just inside the halfway line. The left-hand side, we'll probably move down to the right with Jaden Henshaw, given the way he's shaping up. Trying to keep that ball inside and get that penalty advantage. Not coming just yet. There it comes now for the referee. Jaden Henshaw goes down the blind side. He's off and around in the zone. And it's a good steal on the ground from his opposite number, Gonzalo Garcia. But they'll go back for the penalty. Interesting decision now. Do you take the 3 points? Do you go to the left-hand corner? Try go for that rolling more? Try get a try? Or do you just take the 3 points and keep building on the fact that now you've got that scrum dominance, you can kind of go and use it? Springbok is going to go to the corner here. And has he kicked it dead? He has kicked it dead. Ah, Marnie, we really didn't need that. Really didn't need that. He's kicked it dead as Marnie Box. So it's going to be a line back where he kicked it on the halfway line. Looks very, very close, but he's gotten it very wrong. And that's frustrating. Right, there goes Oxen Chair. I keep saying I'm sort of surprised that we haven't seen him go off earlier. What a shift that is from Oxen Chair. He's just absolutely decimated the scrum and said, thank you very much, all the day's work, and we'll let you guys see it out for the rest of it. Right. Been a bit of a change in direction, and then the trip over the top. Good Lance has to get across. Magic Carreras does take it, but goes out in the process. So it'll be a block line out on the right hand side, just past the 10-meter line. It looks a couple of words between Fassi and Lucio Cinti. Right, decent line of that from the Springboks, and Jaden Henderson now goes to the base of the ruck, lifted high. Evan Etzebeth's going to give chase. Lots of Argentina traffic to try and deal with. He slaps it backwards, and Hendrickson puts a pass out the back door, which eventually drifts forward. Probably just need to hold on to that for Hendrickson, to be honest. Saw the man running and tried to be fancy. Probably didn't need to do that. I mean, quite a sloppy second half. I mean, it's interesting when you think that we had, almost 50-odd points in the first half, and we've had 6 in the second half. You know, that old saying of a game of 2 halves is really coming into its own in this game, because it's been such a slow second half in comparison to the first. Donovan, the only subs released on our bench is Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Well, this is a great move from Argentina. And Albanese shipped the tackle of Lekanya and Jaden Henderson missed the tackle as well. Albanese is eventually tapped down by Upletter Fassi. Far too much gain an advantage from Argentina. I mean, 2 or 3 slip tackles there. That's really poor. Now Oviedo runs into Gerard Stenenkamp, his first tackle of the game. And he gets pinged for not rolling. Was caught under the base of the ruck. And this could be a penalty that'll take Argentina in front. So I kept saying, you know, for as long as, I mean, for all that we've been the better side in the second half, and that's the knock-on's a big tackle from Nakanya. We're only 2 points ahead. And this could be us behind, should be us behind, to be honest. Couple of Argentina players down again, so I think that's what they're struggling this half. The second is the physicality. The Boks have been really good, but it's not like we've managed to build on that. You know, we haven't really been able to use it and kind of get ahead. As I said, they're going to kick ahead now. Cyril says that part of our lineouts is Evan is putting more work into his all-round game. Franco was our best lock at lineout time, so we need a victor. To our Buckies, both lost can play and not play that hard. Yeah, look, I think it's a combination. Yeah, I mean, we've lost our 2 best line-out jumpers in Franco and Lutiaga. So, you know, last year Franco Master was doing all the line-out calling, he was doing all the line-out work, and he's world-class at it. So it's definitely been a direct correlation with Franco Master's injury and our line-outs kind of just not operating. So that's been a bit frustrating as Argentina take the lead, but we've got to try and fix it. So Ruan Nokia has been getting there, but it's just frustrating to see an area where we've been so strong traditionally be very poor at this Rugby Championship. And speaking of poor, we're now behind 29 points to 28 with 11 minutes basically on the clock, 11 minutes and 5 seconds to be precise. Money Lieber with ball in hand to get the restart going. And we have officially emptied our bench with Jan-Hendrik Wessels coming on for Malcolm Marx. And I mean, you talk about fixing the line now. This is a guy who doesn't play a lot of rugby for the Bulls, has never played at hooker for the Boks. And I was going to see out a game where set piece is going to be very important. Moneyball goes to the middle of the park, and it's almost competitive, but it's a good take that from Santiago Carreras. Etzebeth was the first man getting there from a South African perspective. Should never actually really be him. Should be, in theory, you think players are a bit faster than him. But Martin Liebach now on the run from the kick ahead. And runs straight into Lucio Sinti. Big counter run coming from Argentina, but the ball is available there for Jaden Hendrickson. We will knock here now by the halfway line. Jaden Hendrickson's going to look to go to the boot here. Lifts it high. Curtly Arnson's going to try and give chase. And it comes off an Argentina hand backwards to the core. But Lekanya Ama's there and grabs the ball. Second possession inside the 22. We need a scrum off, and Hendrickson does arrive. Jan-Hendrik Wessel gets his first carry of the game. Now Jasper Wiese. Quiet game from him. Hendrickson goes to Crocker Smith. Puts his head down. Also, I haven't seen much of him. Now around the corner goes Jan-Hendrik Wessels. 10 meters out of the box. Good momentum this. Hendrickson So it's Springbok. He just lost the forward as Bassi. Knock on advantage now for Argentina, 5 meters out. If he had held on to it, it could have been interesting. And it's not the best pass there. And he won't find touch here, Will Thomas Albanose. So Mapimpi's going to go back from the halfway line with a bit of options. He's got Kurt Lancer to his right. Gets away from one, does Marcus Mapimpi. And we'll restart by the 22. Hendrickson goes to the right-hand side to Fassi. Fassi pops it up, and it's a terrible pass, but knocked on by Matteo Carreras. And it'll be a scrum outside the 22. Not the best pass that from Aprile Fassi, rather. Didn't really need to make that pass either, to be honest. Right, big scrum here. Big scrum, win the penalty, take the points. I think that's where we're at, aren't we? Do. Right, big scrum here and take the 3 points, boys. That's the only thing we need to worry about. I mean, it's a beautiful stadium, but you just don't. I mean, look, I haven't been able to hear it much, but I wonder if you get the same sort of Argentinian aggression because it's at their stadium, so you're quite far away. I'm pretty sure it's got a track around it. It looks like it's got a track around it. By the way, it looks like Ruan Nokia is off, by the way, which I imagine, yeah, Salmurat's back on the park. Ruan Nokia is, I think it's just a cut to the back of his head. He seems to be holding something on and putting pressure on it. But I wonder if you got that same sort of hostile, environment and crowd, because that's the whole thing. When you go and play in Argentina, it's tough to play in Argentina because it's so hostile. I mean, you've got people up against the fence, shaking the fence and, like, in your face. I just don't get the feeling you're gonna have quite the same sort of animosity or aggression when the crowd's so far away. We are finally ready to get going with the scrum again. It was on the right-hand side, about 10 meters further back from the 22. It will be a South African put-in, which is the main thing. As I said, scrum penalty, take the points, and off we go. And a free kick to Argentina. Well, that's not what we wanted. Not what we needed at all. I think it was I'm pushing before, and this is kind of. I mean, you wonder if this is an example of where teams where they're struggling kind of just don't take the hit. Right, they don't and kick ahead. And Apple Fast has been taken out. Good tackle there from Salam Murat. Argentina in possession, now their own 10-meter line. 7.5 minutes left on the clock. We trail by 1. Macho Carreras. Now Oviedo, now knocked on in the tackle, and Carreras pops it up to Evan Etzebeth. We're going to go back for something. There was a call for offside. I wondered about if this was Evan Etzebeth because Aprile Fasti got taken out and therefore couldn't put anybody on side. Yeah, and you see someone else asking, what about the tackle on Fasti? Was that not a penalty? Right, so penalty Argentina. Less than 7 minutes on the clock. This is suddenly getting very, very close. Well, to be fair, it's been close all game. It's been close since about the 35th minute. And Santiago Carreras doing the kick to touch. That's a great touch finder as well. It'll be inside the 22. Argentina right on the doorstep for South Africa. We can see a try now. That could be game over. Imagine, I mean, we've beaten All Blacks on the bounce twice. Australia twice. We've only lost one game the entire year of the 8 we've played so far. And the crowd's up for it. Look at that crowd. I mean, goodness me. They're up on their feet. They're chanting. It sounds like an amazing atmosphere. Right, let's see. Are we going to compete? No. He does go up as the evidence, and he's taken it brilliantly. What a steal that is from the box. When they needed it the most. Not out of the woods yet, because we're still very far away from their try line. But Jaden Hendricks will at least send them about 10 meters back. They'll still have an attacking lineup, though. So not out the woods just yet, but it's a great take that from Eben Etzebeth. Right, so I put up the player ratings, by the way. You can go and vote on them and let me know what you think of the players. Give me a rating between 1 to 10. And it's ball over the top, and it's into the hands of Quacker Smith. Horrible line of that from Argentina. Not quite sure why they need to be complicated. I suppose, that's Eben Etzebeth's win now, putting the dart into them. Maniba goes to the skies. But Pippi will give chase. It's a great take, and Jason Creel will just bundle Santiago Carreras into touch. It'll be a block line by the 22. You can see Lukanya. I'm just saying, just chill. Final 5 minutes of the game. Right, to look at the more handicap vessels at the back of it. And he's going to break. He's going to go on his own run as Jan Hendrik Vessels. Jasper Visa. Mani Liebach goes into the air. Jesse Creel trying to get through, and it's knocked forward from Argentina. It's all starting to line up a little bit here for South Africa. They have a scrum by the 10-meter line. This is where we need the scrum penalty. The kick chase has been good, yeah. The boxing, I mean, it's been pretty. The kicking in the last 20 minutes has been very accurate. So now we've got a scrum on the 10-meter line. Get the penalty here. Take the points. Simple as that, guys. It's not rocket science. The reset over here. Come on, people. Let's get this going. As mentioned, we've got the player rating show. That'll happen immediately after this, so you can come and join me on that. And basically what we do is we give every player a rating between 1 and 10, and we give ourselves a man of the match for the box. Not been our best performance, been pretty sloppy at times. So it's been really, really interesting in terms of some good and some really, really bad. And once again, some issues here at the scrum time. South Africa needs to be very careful. They want to be eager, they want to get the hit, but you don't want to concede that free kick because then you can't then you can't take another scrum. And you can see the conversations there from South Africa. They basically say, listen, they're not taking the hit. You know, we're trying to scrum. They're taking away the hit, and they're trying to concede that free kick and get themselves organized. So the referee needs to be very careful here, where they need to make sure they're taking the hit. Ball down, available for Hendrickse. He goes to Lukanya. No penalty coming from that scrum, so now there's a penalty from Hendrickse. He's won that brilliantly on the ground there, and that's very kickable for Mali Liebok as well. So a free roll of the dice here. 90 seconds left on the clock, and they're going to go back to Kirtley Orange. Now, I mean, Kirtley Orange is not... I mean, what is going on here, guys? I'm getting kind of over it, to be honest. Like, you know, Kirtley Orange is now in the pocket, trying to hit drop goals. I mean, when does Kirtley Orange ever nail drop goal? You know, like, if you're going to go for the drop goal, fine, but wait 5 seconds to get Mali Liebok into the pocket. You can actually have a genuine go at a drop goal. Anyway, we're back with the penalties, so it's not like it's a train smash. I'm just kind of annoyed at the concept, because it's kind of like just so dismissive of an opportunity to genuinely go and take it. So Mali Liebok's got a penalty here to potentially put us in the lead. Rassie Erasmus barking in the instructions here. He's not happy. He's walking up and down. He's fuming. Mali Liebok needs to make this. South Africa will take a lead into the final minute if he does. Come on, Money. Make no mistake here. If he misses this, he's going to get slaughtered. We all know that. And he has missed it. Well, that was it. That was it. Right, so goal line dropout. Mali Liebok has missed it to the left. That's a dreadful kick. He's looking like he snatched at it, to be honest. He's not going to escape the allegations. He had a moment, he had an opportunity to win it there, and that's going to be the entire conversation now in the next game. In the next few weeks. We're going to have to run from deep here. We're into the red here. Bar a miracle. Looks like we're going to go down. And if we do, goodness me, I mean, I think Rassie Erasmus is going to very rightly be very, very aggrieved at this terrible performance from this team. Jesse Creel now, though, still running. We still got a bit, I mean, we win the penalty, get down the park, but not been good, and that's not a good pass from Mali Liebok. Could take that from Fassi on the ground. But building from deep here. Jesse Creel going through the phases here of the box. Can't afford to kick it out. Can't afford to kick it anything. Gerard Stennekamp deep in our own half. Lukanya and Andrew Vessels now. Over a minute into extra time. Liebok goes to Creel. Still ball in hand here from the box. Pick up and go here from Albert Lowe. And penalty Argentina. Yeah, well, you know what? And Russ is going to have to take blame for this as well. You rotate a team like this. You don't tackle like that. You don't defend like that. You miss penalties like that as well. And you're not going to win games. And what is potentially the worst sporting day of my life has come to an end. That is absolutely dreadful. They take it quickly. They kick it out. And Argentina have done it. They have beaten the box in Argentina. They've beaten New Zealand. They've beaten Australia. They've now beaten the box. They become the first team in the Rugby Championship this season to beat every single opposition. Mali Liebok is going to be fuming about that kick that he's just missed. He knows he's better than that, but unfortunately, all the talk about him not being able to step up when it counts and do it, it's not going to go away. while he misses attempts like that. It really not. People are going to see you very shortly over the player ratings show. Please don't go away. It's going to be a very interesting one to get going. So, yeah, we'll see you very shortly. Smash like on the video, subscribe.